Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order on August 4th, 6 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Klein. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and stay rising for invocation.
Please join me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Watch over our city, watch over our first responders, bring home safely at the end of every watch, and be with each of our people and our citizens, Lord, protect our city and the gates of our city. We ask those things in your name. Amen. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to item number 1.4, City Clerk's posting of the agenda, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This agenda was posted on Thursday, July 31st at 3:58 p.m.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco.
Here.
Councilmember Klein.
Here.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
Here.
Councilmember Hilton.
Here.
Councilmember Marks.
Here.
Councilmember Ramirez. Here. And Mayor Bozo.
Here. Item 1.6, orders of the day. We have none. Item 1.7 is employee introductions. We have quite a few this evening. So the first person who will be coming up, I believe, is Chief Bender, introducing two employees.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm honored to introduce a couple of new folks for the city from the police department. First, we have Summer Jimenez. Summer graduated from CSU Monterey Bay in 2020 with a bachelor's in psychology. Prior to joining the Gilroy Police Department, she dispatched for Monterey County for over 2 years, where she oversaw 14 different police agencies and became a trainer prior to her tenure. Summer has 2 children, a 3-year-old daughter, and a son who was just born 3 months ago. In her free time, Summer enjoys snowboarding in the winter, reading, cooking, and spending time with her family. Austin McKinney was born and raised in Santa Cruz until the age of 14. He and his family then moved to Aromas, where he attended Anzar High School. Before graduating high school, Austin enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. Upon graduating, in the following 8 years, Austin served in the Marine Corps as an infantryman. He was deployed 5 different times, to include a combat deployment to Afghanistan in 2011. From 2021 to 2025, Austin was a police officer with Hollister PD, where he was a firearms instructor and field training officer. Austin has been married for 14 years.
this opportunity to everybody. Again, I've been in this office going on 5 years now. I've heard amazing things about this city and about my department, and I'm just thankful and blessed to be here, and I'm ready to go. So thank you very much.
Next, employee introductions will be led by Leanne McPhillips.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. The first new employee that I have to introduce is our very own city clerk, Kim Mancera. If she could join me, or you can stand there if you want, that's fine. Kim Mancera is Gilroy's new city clerk, also known as our council services, records, and elections manager. Kim is a certified municipal clerk, a CMC, by the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. She came to Gilroy with over 5 years of directly related work experience, having served as the deputy city clerk for the city of Morgan Hill. And as the mayor pointed out, we're always happy when we can, grab someone from Morgan Hill to join our team, because there's a little rivalry back and forth between the two cities. I used to work in Morgan Hill. While in Morgan Hill, she clerked council, commission, and agency meetings, prepared agenda packets, filed FPPC paperwork, assisted with municipal elections, and worked on many, many, many public records requests. She has experience with records retention, the Brown Act, Public Records Act, and all the different software systems that are used by the city clerk's office. And then prior to shifting to public sector employment, Kim worked as an office manager and inside sales rep for Caldor and Drawer, located in Morgan Hill, where she worked for over 16 years. Kim is currently finishing out the Leadership Morgan Hill program that she started before she came here to Gilroy. And becoming a city clerk was a career goal of Kim's, and we're really happy to have her, and she's happy to be here in Gilroy serving the organization and community. Kim lives in Morgan Hill with her husband Felipe and son Lucas and their doggies. Please join me in officially welcoming Kim to the city of Gilroy. You can say whatever you want to say from there.
I just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure so far, and I'm sure it will continue to be.
So far, hint, hint. Okay, the next introduction I have is Juanita Menig. Juanita. Juanita was hired as a management assistant to support the Facilities and Fleet Division in the Administrative Services Department and began work in June of this year. Juanita is a skilled administrative professional who came to us with prior public sector experience, having worked for over 3 years at the city of Carmel by the Sea in the administration department. She also worked at the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey as an operations manager and also worked as a manager for Starbucks. Our team here in Gilroy was attracted to Juanita's excellent customer service orientation and can-do attitude. She is a licensed notary, holds a bachelor's degree from Arizona State University. Juanita lives here in Gilroy with her husband Thomas and their 3 sons, and already loves the improved quality of life she has from her short commute. So please join me in welcoming Juanita to the city of Gilroy.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I am just so excited to work for our great city and to see so many familiar faces. And I just look forward to a really long tenure of growing within the city organization. So thank you.
I have a few tonight, so bear with me. Next, I'd like to call up Gibran Mendoza. Gibran has been working for the city of Gilroy since November of last year, but he's already got a new job. He started with us as an equipment mechanic, but recently went through the recruitment process and was selected for the senior equipment mechanic position beginning just this last week on August 1st. Tapping into his prior fleet management experience, Gibran has already implemented some positive changes to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of our fleet shop. Prior to coming to Gilroy, Gibran worked as a fleet manager for Wren Transportation, and prior to Wren, he worked as a lead mechanic for NorCal Kenworth. Jumping into a leadership role is something Gibran is comfortable doing, and we are excited for him to implement some of his ideas and suggestions here in Gilroy. Gibran attended the Universal Technical Institute in Sacramento and earned his automotive technology certificate. And for those of you that don't know, UTI is a comprehensive trade school program for mechanics. Gibran lives in Salinas with his wife Claudia, his daughters Cassandra, Arleth, and his son Joaquin. Please join me in congratulating Gibran on his new senior equipment mechanic position with the city of Gilroy.
Thank you, Leanne. I want to express my gratitude to Leanne and Walter for entrusting me with this new role. Their trust means the world to me. My goal is to keep all the services and all the vehicles in top condition to respond to any emergencies. Thank you again, Leanne and Walter, for the opportunity. Thank you, City of Gilroy, for this job. I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, next I want to tell you a little bit about our summer internship program and introduce to you some of our summer interns. Gilroy participates in the Next Generation Summer Internship Program that spans public agencies in both Santa Clara and San Mateo counties. This program is intended to build the bench for the future by introducing college interns to work in the public sector so they can get a feel for what jobs might best suit their career goals. 2 of Gilroy's past college interns work here now in full-time positions. One of our past interns shared with me that after her internship, she knew Gilroy was the place she wanted to work and applied as soon as she was on approach to her college graduation. What could be better than that? I also want to point out someone in the audience who's here, Jason Davalos. Jason, can you please stand up? Jason is our human resources analyst, and he works on this summer internship program. He works on a lot of the recruitments and a lot of the new employees that you see before us. So I want to thank Jason for his hard work. He puts his heart and soul into these recruitments and these intern programs, and these folks wouldn't be here without his work. So thank you, Jason. So this year, we're lucky to have a team of 5 college interns working in various city departments this summer. So I'm going to give a brief introduction of 3 of them who are here tonight, and then I'll just touch on the 2 that could not be here tonight. So we'll just have you stand up where you are for the interns. Okay, Alyssa Remley, please stand up. Smile to everyone in the audience. Alyssa is our human resources summer intern. She graduated this past May from San Jose State University with a degree in sociology. During her degree program, she explored different career possibilities and became interested in the field of human resources. She joined the San Jose State University chapter of the Society of Human Resources Management to further explore the field of human resources. And she is currently getting some real-life HR experience here at the City of Gilroy, supporting our recruitment efforts, our wellness, our employee wellness program, and she's assisting with the planning of our annual health and wellness event for our employees. So thank you, Alyssa. Next, we have 2 interns here for the summer supporting the Gilroy Police Department and the Youth Task Force program. So if Leah and Giselle can please stand. Thank you. So Leah has been attending Gavilan College pursuing a degree in administration of justice and will be transferring this fall to San Diego State. As a Gilroy resident, she hopes to someday apply her education and experience to a full-time job here in Gilroy. Leah worked this last year as a recreation leader in our recreation division and built a base of experience from which to grow during her internship. Giselle Rodriguez is a recent graduate of San Jose State, having earned her degree in criminal justice this past May. She volunteered for the Morgan Hill Youth Action Council and continues her work in support of youth advocacy, community engagement, and public safety. She collaborated with the Morgan Hill PD previously on anti-vaping efforts to help create a safer and healthier environment for youth. Both Leah and Giselle are working closely with Sandra Cruz and her team in support of the Youth Task Force program. They are supporting Project Thrive programs and reporting, assisting with the upcoming National Night Out and the recent Party in the Park events. And so thank you, Giselle and Leah, for being here this summer. We're glad to have you on the team. And quickly, 2 interns that couldn't be here this evening. Valerie Aguilar, she's our engineering division summer intern. She's a current San Jose State student pursuing her bachelor's degree in civil engineering, and she is gaining a lot of real-life experience in the engineering division in our public works department. And in addition, we have a volunteer summer intern in the finance department, Joab Hinsta. And Joab is a recent graduate from Santa Clara University with a degree in finance, and he is working on all kinds of finance projects in the finance department this summer. So we're getting a lot of great help from our summer interns, and it's great to have them on the team. It's great to see their energy. It's great to build the bench for the future, and we're happy to have them all here in Gilroy this summer. So thank you.
Thank you. Next employee introductions will be led by Public Works Director John Dowdy.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. I am grateful tonight. I have 3 new employees to introduce in my first introductions of new staff. And I guess one could hope that I'd never have to come and introduce another staff because we just have everybody stick with us. But we'll stick with grateful tonight for this. I will go from with Pamela Brown. And this is by seniority since we start from June 1st all the way up to 2 weeks ago. So we're very, very recent folks here. So Pamela comes to us from Southern California, grew up in the city of Riverside. She worked for the city of Riverside and the county of Riverside, stayed local. Her mom always said, let's go to Gilroy, let's take a look. We always loved the Gilroy Garlic Festival. So for those of you that have tagged along with that, she had a connection immediately and with that and from a long time being. She joined us in a challenging time as we were just adopting the budget. So she got the end of the budget adoption and the beginning of year-end work. And so she has just hit the ground running, to say the least. She is a great person within the office, and we really appreciate her personableness, her willingness to jump in and deal with that. This morning, I found her before work steam cleaning our refrigerator. That's just crazy good with that deal. In her free time, she likes to go to the beach, and she is a photographer. And at one point, she was a photographer for Disneyland. And so she does have some folks that she did pictures for. She'll tell you that privately sometime about that work. She recently completed her bachelor's degree and is currently working on her master's degree in management and organizational leadership. And we are expecting great things from Pamela and so thrilled to have her with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Council, and thank you, John, for giving me the opportunity to come to Gilroy and make this my career. I'm trying to move out here next year, so I live in Marina currently, but I'd rather live in Gilroy. It's way better, and honestly, the environment is just much funner living out here and working out here, so I appreciate the opportunity, and for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Juan, come here. Juan's been here a whole month. Juan is our engineering tech and Inspector 3, and I forgot to mention Pamela is our management analyst trainee, so thank you. Juan comes to us not very far away. He came here when he was 9 from Michoacan, Mexico, and has been here and called Gilroy home. He's been to Glenview Elementary School, Southview Middle School, and Gilroy High, and even went to Gavilan, so he is through and through a Gilroy guy. He served in the military and did a year stint in Iraq with the U.S. Army and also served with the California National Guard. So we applaud that and thank him for his service. He brings over 25 years of experience in the construction industry, inspection world, has done a little bit of everything, built stuff, inspected stuff, and we are thrilled to have him here working with us. He's got many certifications and the like. In his free time, he likes the outdoors and goes hiking, biking, running, and weightlifting. And he said if he had to pick one thing, he would just, for food, he would choose a cooked steak paired with a cold beer. So keep that in mind if you see him around, or invite him after hours on the weekends, whatever with that. So we are extremely excited to have him join the team. Thank you and welcome him.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here. I always have been trying to get in the team. Hipólito. But I finally made it. Thank you. I'm going to do my best to make keep the city the way it is and make it better. Very, very happy, and that I'm not driving anymore. I'm not commuting. So my commute is a mile and a half. So it's even better. It's kind of funny, but like every day I wake up and I'm like, can't wait to come to work. So if you have that feeling, that means that there's something good. Hope I can stay here for another, if I can make it for 10, 20 years. But thank you. Appreciate it.
And last but not least, Brian Rodriguez. Come up. Brian has been here a whopping 2 weeks, so he knows everything, got it all under control. He recently graduated from UC Berkeley in political science and concentration in political theory. He has worked for the Congress, U.S. Congress. He's worked with the caucus for the Hispanic caucus, for California State Assembly as well. He's done some internship work, was in Westlake Village, did outreach work there. He brings an incredible energy and excitement to the group, and also ability to really analyze and look at things closely and tightly. We're excited to have him focusing on helping and assisting with some of the reorg and restructuring in the public works side of operations. So that's where his focus is going to be for the coming months and years to be. Brian is deeply passionate about the work, and one of these days I could see him sitting in Brad's seat. I think that's what his ultimate goal is. We'll have to try to train him otherwise, but but if that's his dream and goal, then we'll help him get there if that's really what he wants to do. Brian enjoys playing tennis, so we'll get him with the tennis club there maybe, and hiking, and I've seen him with his electric bike, so I think it's even street legal, so I saw pedals on it, I think, so that's a good thing all right from the get-go. So let me introduce Brian. Thank you.
Good evening, council, staff, community. It's only been 2 weeks, but I feel like I've been here for much longer. It's just been such a warm welcome from the community and from staff. I'm still learning, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. This is a really unique community, and one that I'm so grateful to be able to join and support. Like John mentioned, I'll be doing a lot with operations, so I'll be supporting C-Click Fix and so many of the other great things, and looking for active transportation project grants, and I'm really just making sure that we're keeping our infrastructure in great shape. So thank you, and I appreciate the introduction and recognition. Thank you.
I was remiss, Brian is also management analyst trainee, so
thank you.
I want to make sure you knew that.
All right, thank you for all those introductions. Before I jump into ceremonial items, I would like to say a couple things about some of the employees as well that were not mentioned yet. It was really nice to have there were 3 different departments today describing the employees and the skill set that it takes to be part of the departments in the city of Gilroy. And so you can see there's a lot of skill sets working out in the city hall that people need to have. And one job is certainly one of those, and that would be the city clerk. And we went 2 or 3 or 4 months without a permanent city clerk. And we did have one individual who works for the city of Gilroy, Bryce Atkins, who slipped right into that role quietly and easily and very well done, and just as easy, he slipped right out. So thank you very much. Thank you. And secondly, I want to take this moment to introduce our new interim city administrator, Brad Kilger. Thank you very much for being here, Brad. Appreciate you. Okay, so next we are going to go into ceremonial items, and we have one proclamation this evening, and the proclamations this evening are for the Centennial Wineries of South Santa Clara County, right? Which means these are 3 wineries that are all 100 years old or a little bit older. So we would like to take the time to celebrate and have proclamations about those. So we have 3 wineries from South Santa Clara County. We have Kerrigan Cellars, I believe. We have Guyama Winery out of Morgan Hill, and we have Basan Vineyards out of Gilroy. And I would like representatives for those 3 wineries to please come up here, and I'll meet you at the podium to read the proclamation and present them to you. Stand right there. Yeah.
Ready or not?
See if I can do this without making too much noise. Michelle or Frank, one of you or both of you are welcome to come on up, please. Thank you. Sorry. So before I read the proclamation, what we typically do is we read the proclamation, and each member from each winery we feel free to say a few words, and after that we're going to gather with the wineries with the council here and take a photo of all of us together. So here it is, City of Gilroy Proclamation. Whereas the value of our local wineries represents assets with far-reaching cultural, historic, and socio-economic influence and lasting local community and region-wide impact. And whereas the Santa Clara Valley is one of the nation's most fertile agricultural regions, and under the distinct stewardship of our wineries, our agricultural heritage continues to thrive and evolve. Whereas our local wineries amplify the local economy by motivating tourism. And whereas viticulture was first established in the Santa Clara Valley in 1802, making one of the first commercial wine-producing regions in California. This heritage is proudly carried on by our local wineries, fostering local pride and challenging larger, more well-known regions. And whereas family-run small businesses form the backbone of local economies, providing personalized service, deep community connections, and economic stability. The intimate connection to the land, personal commitment, and passion for the winemaking craft result in a friendly, welcoming, approachable wineries that offer memorable and cherished experiences. Now, therefore, I, Greg Bozo, Mayor of the City of Gilroy, do hereby proclaim August 4th, 2025, as a day to honor and reflect upon the remarkable legacy of Kerrigan Cellars, Bisson Family Vineyards, and Guillermo Winery. These centennial wineries in our region and its profound impact on the community's heritage and economy. Thank you. Go ahead, just get really close.
Hello, everyone. I'm not used to talking to this many people without a glass of wine in their hands. Thank you, City of Gilroy, for this honorable recognition. Not really a public speaker, but it really is an honor to celebrate with all of you 109 years of winery making and farming. We love the City of Gilroy. We appreciate all their support. And we thank them by donating our soccer fields to the kids every weekend to play. Thank you again.
Thank you.
But I won't drop it that way. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and honorable council members. Our family is very grateful and honored to be recognized with the proclamation. You know, this is a very special place for us, Morgan Hill and Gilroy. I know there's a little competition there, but both cities make great wine. So that is important to us. We're just blessed that my grandparents decided to come down to Morgan Hill, blessed with the great soil and weather to make grow world-class grapes and make world-class wines. So we're very fortunate that they made that decision, and it's very special. South County's a very special place for us. We've raised our families here, so we've all been here through 4 generations and kind of trying to keep it going. So we encourage and thank you, but we encourage the community to support the local wineries because they have a great product, and we should all drink and buy local. Thank you.
Take your time.
Thank you so much. The Bassan family is honored to be a recipient of the proclamation. We are 5 generations deep. We've been an integral part of Hacker Pass Corridor since 1925. My father, who's to the left of me, has been farming the land. His father farmed the land, and my great-grandfather farmed the land. They've been selling grapes to award-winning wineries up and down the state of California. And for the first time as 4th generation with my partner, Mr. James Fahey, we are now bottling under the family name. We can proudly share the fruits of our labor and the beauty of our historic vines with our community and beyond. As Pastor McPhail said, a grateful heart. Well, we have 3 generations of Bassans with grateful hearts here tonight. Thank you so much.
Mayor, City, and Council, this was all motivated by, we want to appreciate the wineries more than for just a beautiful glass of wine. It represents science, technology, industry, community, bringing people together. It's just so much more. It represents so much. And like Gene said, it's just world-class wine. So we're so grateful to have our wineries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council and members of the public. I'm Michelle Carlin. I'm the President and CEO for the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce. And Frank actually is the one that came up with this amazing idea to acknowledge our wine industry, particularly all of you who have been here for over 100 years. We truly value you. We believe in business, but we also believe in family and community and collaboration. And I think that's what this proclamation is about. So again, thank you for the opportunity, Mayor, and all here to acknowledge all of these families. Congratulations.
So everyone come over here for a picture. Council's going to come down and we'll do a quick picture. We'll crowd in here.
That's right. It's going to take
I have a question.
Move fast. All right, thank you. All right, thank you everybody for getting up and out of your chairs and all. Thank you so much. Moving on to item number 3, presentations to council on public comment by members of the public on items not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one speaker, Greg Filios.
Just a quick reminder, tomorrow night, National Night Out. Let the community know and people who are watching us on the podcast, National Night Out, great opportunity. Schools haven't started yet. Get the kids out there, get the families out. This is a great opportunity to bond with the law enforcement community. They're serving us, and they're our public servants, and they're very open, and they're easy to talk to, and here's an opportunity to get to know them, and having the opportunity to bond with a policeman and say, "Oh, these guys are great." Get the kids out there, get the family out there, get yourselves out there. Let's get out there together. Anything that's community related where we bond is great. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item number 4, reports of council members. Councilmember Bracco.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Marks.
No report.
Councilmember Hilton.
Thank you. From the Valley Transportation Policy Advisory Committee, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, MTC, and Association of Bay Area Governments, ABAG, have advanced the Plan Bay Area 2050 final blueprint into the environmental review phase. This is the region's long-term plan update guiding growth and investment through the year 2050. The analysis demonstrates how the region can accommodate over 900,000 new households and more than 1.3 new jobs by 2050. The final blueprint incorporates updated strategies shaped by 2 years of extensive planning and public engagement. Outreach included over 40 pop-up workshops in equity priority communities, 3 region-wide surveys, 22 partnerships with community-based organizations, and a series of webinars and technical workshops. The resulting strategies directed more than $1.4 trillion in investments towards Bay Area transportation, housing, economic development, and environmental resilience. From Silicon Valley Clean Energy, SVC regularly solicits and contracts for energy and has entered into $4 billion in power purchasing agreements over the past 7 years. This work is carefully balanced to minimize energy costs while meeting SVC's goal of being 100% clean and adhering to various state legislation and regulatory requirements affecting power purchasing. Currently, SVC has procured over 105% of the clean energy needed for 2025 and 2026 and has already secured the long-term renewable energy contracts necessary for state compliance. SVC staff presented stress test analysis evaluating the agency's financial resilience under various adverse scenarios such as prolonged energy price collapses, economic recessions, and regulatory risks. The analysis demonstrates that SVC's reserves and risk mitigation strategies are currently sufficient to absorb these changing conditions as well as major financial shocks should they occur. From the South County Youth Task Force, the Board of Supervisors recently adopted the Latino Health Assessment with 5 key recommendations and actionable opportunities as an initial Latino Health Assessment Action Plan. Santa Clara County's Latino community faces an ongoing public health and social impact crisis. A state that originates in racism and discrimination has persisted for decades and has been deeply exacerbated by the crushing and accelerating affordability crisis. For the first time in over a decade, the Santa Clara County Public Health Department has published a Latino health assessment that draws this crisis into focus and fully into the spotlight. Lastly, you can find the report online through our County Public Health Department, which includes recommendations for considerations by the community to dismantle historic discrimination, marginalization, prioritize mental health and well-being, provide opportunities for children and youth to succeed, and increase access to quality care and improve health outcomes. Thank you.
Councilmember Ramirez.
No report.
Councilmember Klein.
No report.
Thank you very much. I have nothing to report. Moving on to item number 5, consent calendar. We have one item on the consent calendar, 5.1. Have any public comment?
I have no speakers.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 24th. Excuse me, I have a motion to approve 5.1 of the consent calendar. I have a second by Councilmember Marks. A first, by Councilmember Bracco. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Boso?
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 6. Public hearing 6.1, consideration of the report of abatement of weeds and refuse within the City of Gilroy and adoption of a resolution confirming the imposition of assessment liens against the land. Any ex parte communications by council? None. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and Gilroy residents. Tonight's agenda item is the final step in the 2025 weed abatement program. Earlier, on February 24th, the Council approved the county's weed abatement contract and associated fees. Resolution 2025-06 was adopted declaring weeds a public nuisance and initiating the annual program. The County Weed Abatement Program provides the property list, notifications, inspections, documentation, website updates, and coordinates abatement services when needed. The following adoption of a resolution, a list was compiled of properties requiring abatement, including those with 3 consecutive years of failed inspections and new additions based on non-abatement in the prior season. All listed property owners were sent a notification packet with instructions and information. On April 21st, a public hearing was held for owners to request removal from the list. Resolution 2025-32 was adopted to approve the updated list. Inspections took place after May 15th deadline. Property owners could contact the county or fire prevention staff if they had issues clearing their lots. Lots with high weeds after the deadline were issued a notice and assessed a failed inspection fee. This report includes a list of inspected properties, those with failed inspections, and those already abated. All listed properties are assessed a $105 inspection fee. Additional fees applies as follows: $597 for failed inspections, $961 for administrative processing, plus the contractor's abatement cost if service was required. Details are provided in the attached staff report and spreadsheet. The number of listed properties has gradually declined. There are currently 121 properties in this report, down from an average of 160 in recent years, with continued reductions expected as more parcels are developed. In July, listed county property owners were notified of the proposed assessments. They were invited to contact the county program manager, Garrick I. Oselewski, or fire prevention staff by August 4th to raise objections or ask questions. To date, no one has requested removal from the list. Any property owner who has not yet raised a valid objection still has the opportunity tonight to do so. In conclusion, staff recommends that Council adopt the resolution authorizing fee assessments minus any qualifying objections as reported by the County Weed Abatement Program. Madeline from the Santa Clara County Weed Abatement Program is here, and I'm available as needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Questions for Jonathan by council? Councilmember Fugazzi?
Just a curiosity, since I have you up here, and recently I know there's been a number of reports of weeds in large properties and lots in and around the city, and I didn't see some of the addresses on there, or maybe they're in a different address. We had one that had a fire in the last week, which is over on Travel Park Circle. We have one that's on Leavesley and Forest. It's a large one. We have a bunch of different lots that have this. do we proactively go after these and we just haven't got around to them? Because they are getting addressed once they get reported, for instance, on C-Click Fix, which is great. But it seems like just proactively before a fire, we could probably get to it maybe faster if we can get to it within a couple days after being reported.
So that's a good question. And Gilroy, the city of Gilroy doesn't actually have a weed abatement program, so to speak. We do rely on the services and the capabilities of the county. But given that the county serves the entire county, timing, can be a challenge. Some of the properties that you did mention, there's the weed abatement, which meets fire prevention standards, and then there's the other aspect of aesthetics and so on, and just the quality of the city and improving the looks of the city. And we are actually coordinating with the county, with the contractors and the property owners to improve the quality control with the weed abatement. So the goal is to achieve the fire prevention first, and secondly, to get the aesthetics addressed. And as far as proactively addressing these, there is some talk about coordinating with code enforcement, but those are just talks right now. It's just a matter of manpower, workforce, and being able to address all the fire prevention, hazardous materials issues that are in the city.
So just so I'm educated, maybe some of the public, some of the ones that I mentioned, for instance, the one that did catch fire, would that have been covered under the county fire one, or would that be an aesthetic one?
So that one was abated originally, and it's an uneven lot, the one at Travel Park Circle, and it was reported for reabatement. Again, it's not real close to sensitive receptors, but it is a gateway to Gilroy, so that is important. The priority you guys have urged is to improve the gateways. There is a couple of unhoused encampments on there, which may have been the source of the fire. I'm not aware exactly of that, but yeah, we're working to improve the program.
So that one was one for fire? That would be a fire one? Because I heard all the answer, but I didn't quite get to that. So it is or it is not one that...
Yeah, Madeline, if you want to step up.
My name is Madeline. So the one on Travel Park is actually one that we do monitor. The issue with some of these properties is that we do go out, once the deadline hits, we go out and we inspect. If the property has passed our inspection at that time, we don't go re-inspect unless it's brought back up to our attention for a certain reason, where if Jonathan's crew goes out, the fire department, a citizen brings it back to our attention saying, hey, this is overgrown again, we won't go back out and re-inspect. If we go out and we inspect and we see that it's non-compliant, we will then go back out and re-inspect, or we have a third criteria where we consider a check second, where we've gone out, we look at it and we go, it's been cut, but it's kind of questionable. We'll look at it and go, okay, we're going to go back later and recheck it to make sure the property owner is maintaining to the standards we need to keep it to. So that property, I've actually have, it's a mobile app called Watch Duty. It alerts you to any vegetation fire within Santa Clara County. I have seen that property come up on that app
multiple times.
Multiple times, and I go, oh. And Jonathan is correct. There are a few homeless encampments along that stretch where it is catching fire and going up to the freeway. Let me just follow that up because make sure I got this correctly. So it was abated. Once you do it once, we didn't abate it. The property owner abated it. Okay. So it was abated once. It's the property owner's responsibility to keep it maintained.
Right. I'm getting that. So it was abated once. And then from that point, you're saying you don't necessarily monitor it from the county, but if you get feedback from the fire department or from a citizen or what have you, that's when it gets reintroduced. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, but you're basically saying that we don't proactively in the city look at these properties and go, wow, that one could be a fire risk.
We'd like to.
I understand, but I want to help you with that maybe. So that's why I'm trying to understand the whole problem a little more, especially since we have had a lot of fires in that.
Our department would love to as well. Currently, with the manager, myself, and another specialist, we have 3 personnel in total for everything.
Totally understand. It's completely understood. But it helps me understand better how this whole process works, and obviously the public understand it, and the rest of the council members understand better how the whole weed issue works. And How does it work in specifically in the cloverleafs and whatnot where Caltrans is responsible for those areas of high? Is that a fire concern area as well?
It is, but unfortunately, we don't have jurisdiction over public
Understood.
entity. What we do is when we get a complaint of an issue that lands on public entity, we do our best to reach out to them to have that entity address it.
So they don't have to proactively comply?
We wish that they can, but we have no enforcement on it, unfortunately.
Understood.
I'll reach out to the best of my abilities. We have some contacts and we say, hey, can we guys get on this? We have, homeless. We send them photos if we've taken photos. We say there's a homeless encampment. We see them, we've seen them burning fires, whatever the situation. We do sometimes have them do it. We try our best.
No, I get it. You guys have been
Johnson
extremely,
does the same.
that's all I have. I just wanted to get some of that out into the open, and if anybody else has any questions.
Councilmember Ramirez and then Councilmember Bracco.
So thank you, Councilmember Fugazzi, because this now makes a little bit more sense to me in that it's quite an extensive list. But it appears that there's just no enforcement of this list. It's just a list.
It's a monitoring list for our department. It's a monitoring program list. So we have in the county in total, between a total of 13 jurisdictions, we have just under 2,000 parcels.
With 3 people monitoring it.
Actually, the action that the county takes is an enforcement action against the property to abate the weed hazard. So
we
it
have cost
technically
recovery
is-
fees associated.
It is a violation of Public Resources Code and
It's the California Health and Safety Code that we are enforcing.
Okay, but unless I misunderstood, okay, they're on the list. They had a date. If it's not abated by this date, then you go out and abate it and you bill them, correct?
Yes. So it's a cost. So would you
cost recovery?
I can explain the process or how our program works if you guys would like, how we kind of start from finish to give you guys a clear picture if you would like.
Yeah, because it's somewhat confusing in that it sounds like you're.
So what we do is we send out our annual notice. What we send to everybody that's on the program saying, here's your deadline, which is set by city council, city jurisdiction. We give them up until, so Gilroy has until May 15th. But the city, those property owners have until that deadline to have their property abated by. If they cut it before, great. If they cut it up until that day, we don't know when they cut it. But as long as they go out and they have it cut by the time we go out, in the past, we haven't gotten out until later, but they do need to have it cut and initially cut by May 15th and maintained until the high fire season, which generally runs until the end of October. So we'll go out and we'll inspect the property on whatever day we go out. And if the property passes, so we go out, everything looks great, everything's in compliance, they get an inspection fee. All of our fees are cost recovery fees. So our program is fully funded on those cost recovery fees alone. So this year, the cost recovery fee is $105. If we go out, we see everything looks great, we mark it as a pass, we keep going. If we go out and we see that the property hasn't been touched at all, we'll go back, we make note of it, take our photos. We send them to, depending on the part, if it's a completely vacant property where there's no structure whatsoever, we send them a courtesy notice informing them of the situation. We give them a 15-day period of saying, you guys have 15 days to rectify the situation. If you don't, we're going to be taking action on our side. Then we charge them the work order processing fee of $597. What happens in that 2-week time frame is my manager actually goes out and verifies the property still needs to be cut, and then at that time we create the work order, send it off to our contractors, and from there the contractors will then go out and abate the property. If the property owners contact us between that time frame of the 2 weeks and say, hey, I got the notice, we're good to go, here's the process, they send us photos, we like what they do, we go on our way. Or if we have to go back out and see if the property's been cut, when he's doing the secondary inspections, if they cut it, we charge an additional inspection fee. If the property has a structure of any sort that poses any type of privacy aspects to it, we have to send what's called a consent letter. So we have to ask the property owner to enter the property if needed. If the property owner doesn't give us consent to enter, we then have to look, and if the property still needs to be cut, we have to then start addressing the fact that we have to actually maintain a warrant to be able to enter the property. And that's even if it's someone's front yard. We can't just go in and cut their front yard because there's an expectation of privacy. So we have a whole new process that we just started implementing last year, and it's full in effect this year. So we have that. With the structure being on there, it does take a little bit more time if the property owner is not complying with us. So on these properties, there's no structures, there's nothing. If we go out, we inspect, and they keep failing, our guys are going to go out and take care of it, and but then we come here for the assessment hearing. If you guys approve the fees, they go into the property tax bills. So the property owners have to pay them regardless. They can't not choose to pay them or not. So It's a little difficult. I mean,
so I guess going back to my question, and thank you for that explanation. It was very thorough. We had that information in our packet, but I guess what my question is, what is now being brought to my attention is I just made the assumption, bad on my part, that, okay, there's a list of all these people, they're going to go out and they're going to be addressed. I mean, they're paying attention and this and that, but if there are, I don't know, 100 or so just in Gilroy?
121 this year?
Yes, just in Gilroy, and we're one jurisdiction in the county, and there are 3 of you.
Yes.
What is the likelihood, I guess, of really addressing all of these issues in Gilroy so that we do not have recurring issues, or any issues for that matter, with regards to fire?
So what our program is that once a property is on our program, they don't get removed from the program until they can show 3 years of consecutive voluntary compliance. So
I guess my question is, do you go out to all of these properties at least once during the fire season to see if it's been done?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We go out every year. Everybody gets one inspection, and if they have to have multiple, we're going out multiple times. And as many times as we're going out, we will be charging an inspection fee, especially if we're doing it for the going out to do it to see if we need to, well, if we're going out and we see that it's a check second, like somebody cut it before the deadline, and let's say there's a little bit of regrowth that's maybe 4 inches, and you can see the dead grass above it, and we're like, it's not bad. We can see they did the work, so we'll go out a few months, go out later, kind of cycle back through, and we see that they've gone back and mowed it again, we'll pass them. But if we go back out there and we see that they haven't, done anything and it's gotten 2 feet high, well, we're going to fail them, and then that's when we're going to start the failure process on that. So we do, and we've had also properties that we've come out and they've passed the first initial inspection, and we've gone out a few months later because we've got a complaint and we failed them later in the season.
But to follow up, I think the key part here is that you do the first one, the second one or third one or whatever only happens if you either happen upon it, somebody in the city staff tells you about it, or a resident tells you about it.
Yes.
That's number one. The confusion for me, too, is which of these properties are actually the fire ones that are the concerning ones, or however it's defined, Jonathan. And is there a GIS map, or is there, because, again, I read some of these addresses, I don't know exactly where they are, but if I have, is there something visual that you can look at? And so I go and look at the corner of Leasley and Forest, and I go, yeah, it's a gigantic, lot next to homes, but it's not a fire one, so it's just aesthetic. And I go, okay, well, then that one, it's going to go to code compliance. It's not going to go into the weeds thing.
Well, for that particular one, the field, so for weed abatement, for fire prevention standards, if the property is 1 acre or less, they have to abate the entire field. So cut it down. If it's larger than 1 acre, they abate the perimeter of the property, and say it's 10 acres, then they would divide it in half with a fire break down the center. So the one that you're talking about, they actually abated the entire field, but they didn't do the areas by the cyclone fence.
No, I get all that. I wasn't using it for that reason because of that issue. I was basically saying there's no way to really, for a resident or even a council member necessarily, to know, looking at one of these particular areas, whether or not it's one that falls within your jurisdiction and the county jurisdiction, or it's an aesthetic issue.
City of Gilroy is covered completely by weed abatement. There's no commercial property, residential property that's not covered by us.
Oh, okay, because I thought you
We-
said some of it falls under aesthetic, not under the fire.
So we handle everything we handle everything that we can see from a public right of way. So if we drive up and we can see your gate is open and we can see you've got 5 feet of tall weeds in the
Okay.
backyard, we're addressing it. If we get a complaint with someone saying, oh, my neighbor's got 6-foot weeds in his backyard, and we drive out there and we can't see anything, that's when I go, hey, Jonathan, I got this complaint. That's when he goes, all right, code enforcement, here we go. Jonathan is like actually one of the better cities I've worked with, because anytime I get a complaint for anything in City
He's
of
on
Gilroy,
it. Yeah.
we tag team on, and I do that with all my cities. All the cities I work with, I'm like, hey, we got this, we got this, we got this.
So every single one of them, I don't need a map then.
The
'cause there's no
only
difference.
city we only have a stipulation with for our jurisdictions is City of San Jose. They tell us nothing with a structure.
Okay.
But every other city that we have everything's fair game for us.
And so it should be last question. So for any of our residents, they don't necessarily have to go to your online reporting thing to report it. Doing it just
Nope.
enough on SeeClickFix is enough for all the residents if they want to report weeds.
Yes. I mean, we have.
It would be appreciated if they came to us, because I think it would take some of the
It kind of
time
goes
off.
both ways. You know, we understand that they have nearly 2,000 properties, the entire county to deal with, and then I have all other programs to deal with. But when you guys do report, or anybody that is from the city reports a property that's not compliant, whether it's aesthetics or fire prevention, we'll take a look at it, and then we'll try to coordinate with weed abatement, the property owner, code enforcement, the contractor, to try to improve the fire safety. First priority, and second priority is aesthetics, how it looks.
Okay, got it. And so as we get our new code enforcement officers that we approve the budget for, we should be able to be more able to hopefully get more proactive with some of this.
I can't speak for code enforcement, but that's the hope. And one of the things I do want to say is that regrowth is an issue.
Yes.
And I'll bring up this now. You know, Gilroy has its roots in agriculture, and I'd like to bring back grazing animals, goats, sheep, miniature cows, alpacas, donkeys, anything. Of course, it's a program, but they have to be corralled and cared for. But I'd like to get that back, get that going. What's that?
I said the goats are great. We haven't been open.
Yeah.
I have personally seen some areas where I live in an unincorporated area of Gilroy, and there is strips I pass every day to work that are city limits, and they are not maintained, and they're next to an open field. I wish I could go out there with a weed whacker, but they're next to a busy road. That's the number one complaint I do get sometimes is, unfortunately, and that's a lot when I'm passing over to Jonathan, is that there's stretches of some areas that people are like, well, what about this area next to this place? And it's like, I have no control over that. That's city property. And I do refer that over to Jonathan for his help on that. So
Thank you, guys. So it's
Councilmember
definitely, I just want to
Bracco.
say one last thank you to them. It was very good to get all that info.
Councilmember Bracco is next. Thank you.
I
Councilman
just have
Scott.
one question. This practice of only mowing the perimeter, when did that start?
that's been a CAL FIRE requirement for as far.
I have 4 acres of 5-foot tall weeds next door to me, and every year they've been forced to mow it or disc it. And this year they just mow a little area around it. It's still going to catch on fire, and it's still going to burn and catch my place on fire.
They need to do at least the 30-foot perimeter around your property lines, their property lines, unless there's a roadway.
But
the roadway needs a 10
what difference is it? Those weeds, they're still going to burn.
I know. This is what I kind of don't understand. This is a California Health and Safety Code that was, I'm not sure exactly when it was established and where these parameters are set, and I believe these parameters of the sizing of property and what needs to be done, I believe those were set by CAL FIRE, and that's what
Can't
we're
the county
enforcing.
require something different?
We have to enforce what's going through everybody else, and I believe that was set through CAL FIRE by state enforcement. And so we enforce it just like everybody through CAL FIRE.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions by council?
I was just going to say the property you approved last week about the Sooner property. I managed that for our church, and that was the big thing. We were one of those that were notified each year, and I had to get it weeds chopped down, and they follow up. They were consistent in following up with that, and so we did the 3 years, and we're able to get off of that. But it's a robust program that you do, and they do follow up. You can't hide.
We do have some stipulations. We do have one of build and landscaping if people wanted to spend the money on that, where if you do landscape that's sufficient enough with like weed block to where the weed growth is not going to be as severe as what it was. We do take that in consideration. If we see that you guys have made the improvement, or property owners have made the improvement, we will consider taking them off the program sooner, but we do need to see the effort and the aesthetic, not even in the aesthetics. We honestly don't care if you put weed block and rock. It's just the fact that the weeds will not be growing back as heavy and dense as like a full field of like straight grass seed.
And our neighbors were the ones that told on us all the time, hey, they're not ready, they're not done. And so
I've had the same thing at my grandma's properties, yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from council? Okay, hold on one second. You guys, you want to comment? I'm going to go to public comment. Okay, I'm going to go to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Okay. Continuing with staff, go ahead.
Just briefly, excellent information, great presentation. Thank you. I learned a lot. I have a lot still to learn. It was raised about the additional code enforcement staff that were part of the recently approved budget. I'm assuming that there are quite a few expectations on how they will be used, and I am going to assume that as they're brought on board, staff is going to have to come back and have a discussion with council exactly where the priorities are and how they will be utilized, because there's never enough staff to do everything, and I know the council wants to make sure that their priorities are being addressed. So I'll talk to staff. Day 4, I still have a little to learn.
Thank you very much. Any further questions from council to staff? No, thank you. Then I will thank you very much, staff. I will entertain a motion to adopt a resolution allowing the assessment of fees minus any qualifying objections as reported by the Santa Clara County Weed Abatement Program.
A motion?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item 7, unfinished business. 7.1 is appointment of members to the Youth Commission. So we are going to take a vote. We're going to start with the 1-year appointments for the Youth Commission. There are 2 positions available for the 1-year appointment. So the way this is going to work is the city clerk is going to go down the list, each council member individually, and you will state the 2 applicants who you've selected for the 1-year appointments. Did I say that correctly, clearly to everybody? Any questions?
When you mentioned the one question is maybe when you mention the name, because I couldn't tell which were seniors. So when we get to the ones where I'm picking that particular one, if it happens to be a senior, slot mine for this, I guess, for that role, or how's that going to work?
I don't believe that she has the list in front of her at this point that says what their role, what.
Yeah, so the inside the packet with staff report is the application submittals. What we can do is track along, identify those seniors, and respond at that point.
Okay. Yes. Say that again, Councilmember Klein.
6 and 10. I'm sorry. 3, 6, and 10 were seniors.
Thank you.
Did you guys catch that? Yes. 3, 6, and 10. And so my thought so far has been that when Kim goes down the list and calls you out, you're going to mention the person's name, correct? Not the number. I know you asked me about a number of their names. So just so we were more clear, let's mention the name. Okay. So far so good, Bryce. Am I on the right track here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do we need a staff report?
You want to go ahead, Bryce?
That was pretty much it, sir.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah. So before we go to vote, we'll go to public comment.
Yes. Thank you. I do have one speaker, Greg Felios.
to thank you for giving these people, the Youth Commission, the opportunity. You know, all these youth that apply for this position, these are people that want to volunteer and their efforts, and even the ones that you don't appoint to the commission, if you could utilize them in other ways, if you could say, in other words, hopefully there's no losers. By the mere fact that they're interested, take advantage of that and put those ones that even if they didn't get appointed, you could have them as helpers, have them as in some way still being involved, because a lot of these people want to get, a lot of these young people, again, want this on their resume and they want hours. Well, let's give the ones that, even if they're not appointed, put them to work too. Give them an opportunity to work. Work with the ones who were appointed. Work together. That's you don't let them go. Use this opportunity to utilize all of them. It's great having young people excited about something. Take advantage of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I do have one more speaker.
Sure.
Michelle?
Good evening again. I just wanted to make a comment and then something for your consideration. So I was able to listen to all of the students make their cases to you as to why they should be selected for the Leadership Commission, I believe it's called. And I think it would be so helpful if the gentleman here had a great suggestion about, the ones that are not selected, how can they still be involved? But even beyond that, just an acknowledgement from maybe you, Mayor, or the whole council, thank you so much for being bold, for being courageous, and coming up and presenting yourself. Those are the student leaders that we need for the future, and I think that type of acknowledgement could mean the world. And if there's anything that any of us can do personally, whether it's myself at the chamber, even just talk to a student, I'd be happy to volunteer my time and just let them know how great it is that they took that opportunity to speak with you and be considered for that.
Thank you.
No further speakers.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we will move on, and you will go ahead and start the process of selection for the 1 year.
Councilmember Bracco?
So just for the 1 year?
Correct.
Correct.
You could say the first name. H.A.? Got it. Thank you. Councilman Fugazi?
So this is for the short term, right?
Correct.
2 short terms. I've got Yana Waba or Jana, and I've got Maya Sanchez.
Councilmember?
I'm sorry, you just picked 2, correct? Okay, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. I'm sorry.
Councilmember Marks?
Neha and Sophia Gutierrez.
Mayor, did you want to go last?
Sure.
Councilmember Hilton?
We'll do Jana and Maya.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Benedict Pham and Sean Ethan Diet.
And Mayor Boso. Oh, sorry. Councilmember Klein.
That's all right.
I'm so sorry.
I have Benedict Pham and Maya Sanchez.
Okay, Mayor Boso.
Maya Sanchez and Yana Waba.
Okay, so Mayor, I have 4 for Maya Sanchez, and then I have 3 for Jana Waba and 3 for Benedict Pham.
So we have a tie on second place. So what would you like to do? Pass through again? And
Sure.
just pick one?
Yeah, we can do
Pick
that.
one. Okay, start with Councilmember Bracco to pick one. And to be clear, the choices are FAM and WABA, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yana Waba.
FAM.
Pam? Councilmember Hilton?
Waba.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Benedict Fan.
Councilmember Klein?
Benedict Pham.
And Mayor Bozo.
WABA. So FAM has 4, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So to be clear, the choices by council for the one-year position is Sanchez and FAM.
That is correct.
All right. Okay, next we have 6. We're going to choose 6 each for the 2 years positions.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Councilmember Bracco?
Bermudez, Bendel, the first name is Biruh,
Okay.
Diana, Gutierrez. How many is that?
5.
5.
I need one more. Has Nia been picked yet? No. Neha.
He does not.
Thank you. Councilmember Fugazzi?
Bermudez, Bandal, Brane, Diakova, Gill, and Correa.
What were the second 2 that I got?
Okay, I'll go slower for you.
I got Bermudez, Bondal.
Okay.
Then I'm missing the next one.
Bira Brane,
Bura Abani. Okay.
Abane, yeah.
Mhm.
And then Diana Diakova.
Okay, I have them. Thank you. And then we have Gill and Korea.
Yeah.
Got it. Councilmember Marks?
Alexander Bermudez, Diana Diakova, Jeremy Vu, Logan Gill, Sean Ethan Diep, and Sean Colin Diep.
Thank you. Councilmember Hilton?
So we'll do Alexander, Ashleen, Baru, Diana, Logan, and Sophia. Did I get 6 right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Alexander Bermudez, Ashleen Bandal, Biru Abana, Diana Diakova, Logan Gill, and Trinidad Olguin Correa.
Councilmember Klein?
Beru Abana, Diana Diakova, Jasmine Carrion, Jeremy View, Logan Gill, and Sean Ethan Diep.
Mayor Bozo.
Sophia Gutierrez, Ethan Diep, Ashton Bandal, Diana Dakova, Alexander Cruz Bermudez, Logan Gill.
I missed one of yours. Sorry, Mayor. I got Sophia Gutierrez, Ethan Diep, Logan Gill, Diana Dukova, and Alexander.
Ashlyn Bandal.
Thank you.
Second one on the list.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor, are you ready?
Yeah.
I have Diana Diakova with 7. I have Alexander Bermudez with 6. I have Ashleen Bandal with 5. Bira Abinat with 5. Logan Gill with 6. And then I have 2 that are tied at 3, and that is Sean Dieppe and Sofia Gutierrez.
Yeah, so we have to decide.
We have to decide between those.
We'll go down the list like we did in the first round, and it will be between Sean Colin Dieppe and Sofia Gutierrez.
And Sean Ethan.
Sean Ethan Dieppe. Sorry about that.
Okay. Councilmember Bracco?
Sophia?
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Sean Dieppe.
Councilmember Marks? Councilmember Hilton?
Sophia.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Sophia.
Councilmember Klein?
Sean.
And Mayor.
Sophia.
Okay, so
Sophia wins.
So Sophia, correct.
Well, I'll read them back to you just so
Yes.
we agree. So this group is Sofia Gutierrez, Logan Gill, Diana Diakova, Biru Abane, Ashland Bandal, and Alessandra Cruz Bermudez.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much for administering that vote. Thank you, everybody. We're going to take appoint members. Yes, I'll take action. So I'll entertain a motion for council to appoint the members whom we just voted on to fill the available seats on the Gilroy Youth Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Council Member Bracco and a second by Council Member Hilton. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
And Mayor Bozo.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Okay, moving on to item number 8, introduction of new business, and 8.1 is the update of the consolidated fiscal year 26 annual sidewalk replacement project number 25-PW296, and consideration of minor modifications and clarifications on the council-approved sidewalk replacement program, and adopt a budget amendment resolution to appropriate $1 million of unspent funds from prior years of the project. Staff report, please. Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, community members. My name is Ryan Osington. I'm the Capital Projects Manager in the Public Works Department, and I'm going to be providing an update on the sidewalk replacement program, some recommended funding adjustments, and minor policy refinements. Some background for you. The city has had a shared sidewalk cost replacement program since 2006. That program ran from 2006 through 2024, and the program was dependent on property owners fully funding and then seeking partial reimbursement from the city for all construction-related costs to sidewalks. This limited our ability to implement improvements in a timely manner. As well, all repairs were done independently, so we had no savings by grouping repairs together in clusters. The new program, which was adopted by City Council on August 5th of 2024, has the city fronting the entire cost and then seeking that partial reimbursement back from property owners after the work has been completed. The city staff is now responsible for identifying and tracking repairs at all locations and the additional site repairs that are needed at those same locations. The city staff also handles all bid preparations, property owner notifications, bid issuance, and all invoicing once the work has been completed. So a big part of that for us is what the process looks like. So the site prioritization is done based off of several factors, most notably the severity of damage at each property location, the location of the property in relation to high volume foot traffic areas such as schools, parks, commercial properties, things like that, and then the proximity to other locations in need of repairs as well, what I call clusters. As of July 31st, or as of August 2024, when the new program was adopted, we had about 150 locations identified in our internal database that needed repairs across the city. And as of July 31st, we're now over 250 locations that need repair. We believe that this increase is due to public awareness of the program, as well as Gilroy Connect, making it a lot easier to report problems that are found across the city. So this is an example to kind of show how our process works a little bit. This is Ousley Drive over off of Wellburn Ave. There are 4 properties on this street that are going to be repaired: 1383, 8622, 8635, and 8532. So the next slide is a couple of pictures of some of the damage from over there. So I'm going to show you 3 of those locations that are pretty close and clustered. So on the left hand of the screen is 1383 Ousley. The middle is 8635, and the right hand is 8622. 1383 and 8635 are identified as properties that need immediate repair. The sidewalk is in shape that's just not possible for high foot traffic areas. And then 8622 is in immediate proximity. So by our standards, when we go to fix 1383 and 8635, we are also going to fix 8622 and 8532. The reason that we fix the other 2 is it lowers our mobilization costs and increases our ability to fix more properties at a lower rate per property. This is another example. This is 9th Street / Valley Forge Drive. This is in immediate walking distance to both Glenview Elementary and just off the page Gilroy High. There are 14 locations in need of repair just on 9th Street and Valley Forge alone. And then there are 4 locations just off of Orchard Drive, which is a direct shot right into Gilroy High. This is the perfect trifecta for us. This is a high volume foot traffic area given the close proximity to 2 schools and a high number of repairs. So all of these would be included in our next bid proposal. So the locations that we have identified, we've identified 87 locations across the city in need of repair, which are recommended to be included in our next bid package, which is going to be published later this month with a bid opening scheduled for September. I do want to give a special shout out and a special thank you to Valerie Aguilar, one of the engineering interns. She has, since day one, she jumped in on this project and helped us get it to the point where it is today. So big shout out to Valerie, even though she's not here. This is a list of the 87 locations across the city. We tried to bundle them as best we could to maximize the amount of locations that we could fix under the budget we have available. And then this is a map showing all the locations across the city, and you get a good visual representation here of how the clustering kind of works. So for the funding source, this is the cost-sharing program and how the prices of it break out. It's pretty self-explanatory. This part has not changed and will not change when we get to our policy recommendation changes. For funding source, this project is fully funded by the Sidewalk Repair Reserve. This is an annual project that has $500,000 tied to it for fiscal years 24 through 28. The budget amendment resolution that was submitted is to appropriate $1 million of unspent budget from prior fiscal years to fully fund the consolidated 26 replacement project. Any funds that are not spent this year will go back into the reserve fund, which will then be available to use in next fiscal year. So the total recommended budget for the FY26 sidewalk replacement program would be $1.5 million. The engineer's estimate is approximately $1,426,000 in repairs for the 87 locations across the city. And our engineer's estimate is based off median pricing that was submitted in the bid package that was issued back in March. We took all the numbers that they gave and created updated engineer's estimates based on the square footage and quantity that we have available. I do want to note, using the current engineer's estimate, the total cost of citywide repairs for all locations currently on the list of the 250 does exceed what the available budget is through fiscal year 28. We are also working on finalizing a on-call contract with a concrete shaving company to help identify some of the lower risk areas so that we can address those. They do not, if we can get those areas shaved, they would not need to be replaced now, so it would buy us some time, but they will need to be replaced within the next 5 to 7 years, just given the trend on how those areas typically work. These are the policy changes. The main policy change that we are recommending is an addition of the ability for property owners to make repairs outside of the program, which would have them covering 100% of the costs, with the city waiving the permit fee. They would still be required to meet all city standards and specs, and all work would be completed by an appropriate licensed contractor. But the main change would be that they would be able to fund this project or the repairs by themselves outside of the sidewalk replacement program, with the understanding they are responsible for 100% of all costs. And then we made a couple of updates to the language within the policy to be more specific, notably on the clarifications to the site prioritization methods used, more information on the payment process and what the payment timeline extension looks like, and then how any liens are eventually collected to be recouped. So our next step, we would finalize and issue the new bid package this month, which with an award in October for 87 repair locations across the city. And then the staff will update the website and informational materials to include the new policy information. So I am now going to hand it over to John to answer any questions you guys have on the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Councilmember Hilton, go ahead.
Good job, Ryan. John, so you briefly emailed us today and talked a little bit about trees. The last time I looked at that list, it looked like it was probably printed in like the 70s or 80s. And I know it's really long, like too much to choose from. Like I remember when I was choosing a street tree, I was like, man, this is way too many options. Give me like 5 options. So I appreciate you talking about keeping with the heritage of the community, not changing it up too much. But at the same time, what are we doing to update that list to make it more modern? And so that way, 50 years from now, which a lot of the neighborhoods you're going into right now, 50 years from now, we're not going through the same, uprooting. What can we do? And also at the same time, to recognize that the Parks and Rec Commission, could be your community group that you go to because the trees and street trees are, a part of their duties.
With regard to the street tree list, we have not even got to a point of an estimate of what that might cost to actually consult that out and deal with it. I cannot. There's no way within in-house we could do that. So we'd have to come back and talk about an add to your work program, I think, to add that into the list and deal with that. We have recently brought on within our options a on-call arborist so we can get some assistance through that process specific to projects, and we can certainly get some consultation, I think, as we work specifically on the sidewalk replacement project. The other piece of that is that clearly the contractor is required to bring an arborist into the mix to evaluate whether the tree has to be replaced, whether the tree root particularly causing this problem can remain. So I think there's an opportunity there also for input as we look at it in terms of what trees should be replaced, what variety. And again, guidance with, what I would call sort of the mimeograph looking document, dot matrix, whatever you want to call that, a bit dated street tree list.
Yeah, and maybe the arborist can just at least help you redline it and then have one of the interns before
I think we
they
can
leave.
do that.
I mean, we own it, right? It's ours. I don't think we need a contract.
We don't have to ask for anybody's permission.
That's what I'm saying. Don't ask for just redline. Like ask the arborist. Like which one should we definitely not put in here? The list is way too long. Thank you,
Councilmember Ramirez.
So great presentation, Ryan. Thank you so much. Thank you, John, for answering all my questions via email. So I just want to clarify 2 things. One is I love the economies of scale, but I also like the opportunity for residents to be able to do this on their own if they are a concrete landscaper, their nieces, whatever, right? So, but then to clarify what Ryan presented was a little bit different than my understanding when my question was answered via email. This is all, so they can, a resident can select their own contractor to do this, and they pay 100% of the cost. So then I'm assuming that they would only do that if the tree was their tree. Because if the tree is a city-owned tree, then it's 50-50. So they cannot do that then if it is a city-owned tree and they hope to recoup 50% of the cost?
As it's written, that was the intention. If it required replacement of a street tree, they would remove the street tree and replace it at their cost, 100% of their cost, their choice to do that process. That's, for another word, would be the opt-out option with that deal. If you don't want to proceed and go through this process, that's your option.
So basically, if I'm understanding this correctly now, if they want to, if it is a city-owned tree and they want to recover 50% of the cost, they really cannot opt out and choose their own contractor.
As it's written today,
Okay.
And recommended, yes.
Okay. The other thing is, I appreciate also not just the trees, but the arborist and looking at how the trees are planted and going deeper so that 50 years from now we do not have, or 20 years from now, the same issue if people are replacing these trees. So thank you for bringing that into consideration.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
A few things. I saw those maps. Those would have been great, especially I saw it looked like they had zoomed-in versions of those maps to put in the packet. So if you can get that out after the fact, that'd be great. It makes it much easier to look at this graphically to know where there's a repair than just saying First in Monterey, which one it happens to be. So that would be super helpful. As a follow-up to that, because I didn't look, I don't know, I just couldn't look at that whole list of things. Sidney Casper Park, there's a whole slew of them in front of the park there with a bunch of trees that have uprooted. Those are those slated to be done as well, and those trees being pulled, do you know? If you don't, you can get back to me later.
They are not part of this, but they would be part of some of the
Okay.
That's what I thought. We're going to take a first run at that with the repair, the minor repair, and then the shaving, and then we'll have to come back at a later point.
Okay. So now on owner repair. So they obviously are going to get to pull a permit, and like many other projects that you would do, it would obviously have inspection and these kinds of things. But clearly here we have a little bit more at stake than a homeowner in their own stuff, because now we're going to own this, so to speak, going down the road. So there is some concern, considering we've had licensed contractors do sidewalk or curb ramp stuff in the past that they had to go back and we had to fix a whole bunch of it because they didn't meet the spec. I don't know if it's the bag mix or I don't know all the technical details. But how are we going to assure that somebody from the public is going to do this exactly to the standard that we want and plant the tree exactly to the methodology that we want the tree planted, so that we don't have this problem in the future? Because it is a little bit different, I think, than inspecting something in somebody's backyard patio maybe or something.
Obviously, our recommendation is that part of our buy-in to and skin in the game is to suggest we waive that fee for the encroachment permit. So we would first get a permit. You met one of the individuals tonight who's now responsible for inspections. We have two others on the staff who are in like positions who will be available to do those inspections. This will take some, obviously, diligence looking in the community to make sure that people aren't just jumping ahead. But it's the same as what we would do today. If we see sidewalk activity, we would check to make sure they have an encroachment permit and have gone through the process. We're going to apply the same specifications, require the same specifications for that permit as for these 87 locations if we move forward with those.
A broom finish or whatever it happens to be.
All the finish, everything, the sack, all the requirements for concrete, the root barriers, everything with that.
Okay. And lastly, the time frame. So obviously, if somebody's going to commit to doing this themselves and we want it done in a particular time frame, is there a trigger? So they say, yeah, I want to do this. Is there a trigger by which, okay, they got 6 months to do it, and then we're going to come in and do it regardless because you didn't get it done in a particular time frame that you've said that you're supposed to get it done? Is that part of the program too?
I think it's inherently part of the program. It was not explicitly identified in it. Our thought process was much the case, which was give them a reasonable period of time to complete, and if they don't, then we basically opt them back in to the program, particularly if they are one of those very significant trip hazard fall issues with that. If they're on the margins, they may go at a later point and deal with that and push back in there, but depending on severity.
Understandable. Thank you very much. Appreciate all the work.
If I any other further questions? Sorry, I jumped ahead. I just wanted to comment. It's more of a comment. If I understand correctly, opting them back in to compel them to do the concrete work is similar to the weed abatement program. If you're going to decide to do it yourself, you have to do it yourself. By opting out, you don't opt out of your obligation.
The timing and of the weed abatement process is a good one for this one. There is similarity, yes.
Okay. Okay, we will go to public comment, please.
Thank you. I do have one speaker, Maria.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, my house is on the sidewalk, and my trees are, they're beautiful, give a lot of shade. I wondered if the roots can just be cut and the sidewalk be replaced. That was just my question.
Would you like to comment on that, you guys, please? One of you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Maria.
And thank you for the question through the mayor. Each tree will be evaluated by an arborist and evaluated as to whether it can be saved and preserved. Obviously, most of these situations are a large root that are going underneath the sidewalk and usually seeking water from some source. So we're going to look at that. Some of these we anticipate will be able to be trimmed and cut, the roots themselves, and we can go back with the sidewalk in the place. Some will not. But each one will be evaluated. What the assessment and what the cost valuation was basically assumed tree removal replacements, but of course we're hopeful that many of those will come off the list and we can keep them in place and, one, save the majestic trees, and two, save money as well for the community.
So, yeah, if I understand correctly, the goal is to save the tree.
The goal is to retain as many as we possibly can.
Thank you. Any further comment, public comment?
No more speakers.
Okay, any further questions for staff by council? No, okay, so I'm going to entertain a few motions here. We have to do 3 for this. So I'm going to just start it off. Am I okay, Andy? You want to comment?
I actually think we can skip the first one. We have received the report. It has come in. The receiving doesn't have legal significance in this context, so we've heard the report. So I would say that one has been satisfied without any vote, and it's appropriate to take a motion for number 2, adopt the budget amendment resolution.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the budget amendment resolution to appropriate $1 million of unspent funds from prior fiscal years for the project from the Sidewalk Repair Reserve Fund 200. Any motion?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Bracco and a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez? Yes. Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. And next, I will entertain a motion to recommend revisions to the recommended revisions to the August 5th, 2024 sidewalk replacement program, which were presented to us this evening.
So the council would be the motion would be to approve the recommendations. Right?
Motion?
So I have a motion by Councilmember Klein.
Second.
A second by Councilmember Hilton. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, the motion passes 7-0. Thank you, everybody. Great presentation, you guys. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 8.2, initial direction and scope of tobacco and smoking control ordinance update and potential moratorium. Staff report, please.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Let me get my slides here, 1 second. Okay, so this agenda item is on the initial discussion for the council legislative item entitled Consideration of Revising the Tobacco Ordinance and a Moratorium on New Tobacco Retailers during the revisions process. Staff is seeking direction from council on how it wishes to proceed with this item. Tonight's presentation includes a high overview of current regulations that the city has adopted through ordinance, a review of additional regulatory options for council, and then the effort is to obtain direction on which to explore for deeper analysis to bring back to council. So the current code provisions that we have include the smoking pollution control, which prohibits smoking in identified areas, including outdoor eating areas, public spaces, including parks, restrooms, libraries, etc., and most recently, multi-unit housing. It requires employers to have a smoking policy and train on it. Proper signage is required, and self-certification in the business license process. And then finally, like I said, the multi-unit housing smoking prohibitions are more recent and has additional procedural requirements listed in there specific to multi-unit housing. We have another code provision that applies to tobacco, which is a retailer permit, which is in our licenses section. It requires any tobacco retailer must have a tobacco retailer permit. The permit requires a fixed location, one permit per location, and displayed publicly. It prohibits retailing within 1,000 feet of schools unless it's a grandfathered location. The permit process is managed by the Finance Department in consultation with the Police Department. And penalties for violations include civil penalties up to $5,000, a ban on renewal permits for up to 5 years, or other civil actions that are available to the city. So in considering direction, we're asking for council to identify its intention regarding tobacco and smoke within the city of Gilroy. It could range anywhere from maintaining the status quo all up to total ban. There's a range of options and levels of regulation in between those two. In the pack is included a table that came from County Department of Public Health of the different cities and where their different regulations stand. And then identifying, based on that goal, what regulations are desired to meet that intention. So which are interested in council for us to pursue. From that, we'll then analyze those and come back for essentially the second phase, which is to identify what enforcement provisions and procedural steps will be required in order to implement those regulations that council may desire to pursue. So in the packet is a listing of identified regulation activities that have been identified. There may be others out there that we're just not aware of at this point in time. But some of these include reducing the exposure to secondhand smoke in public and common areas. So this include like entryways, service areas, banning all outdoor dining, smoking, reducing the density of tobacco outlets. This could include placing a distance between the locations or setting an absolute cap on the number of tobacco outlets that are able to be open. You could limit sales near schools, expand that 1,000-foot prohibition area. You could look at regulating flavored tobacco, restrictions or bans. Some other cities limit sales in pharmacies for tobacco products. You could restrict the sales of all tobacco and vaping products. Some cities have done total bans on vaping. None have done tobacco entirely. And then increasing fees for tobacco retailer permits, basically setting the bar higher in order to gain access or open a business for tobacco retail. And then you could also look at zoning changes to restrict allowable locations for tobacco in certain zones or land use areas of the city. And finally, not as much limiting the number, but you can also enhance storefront advertising controls and addressing infraction fine amounts, increasing it to make it a little more harder on violating businesses that may violate the tobacco retailer permit process. So that's the kind of the whirlwind tour of the options. The city did receive grant funding of $40,000 this calendar year for evaluating potential implementation of two of those measures, which is reducing the density of tobacco outlets and flavored tobacco restrictions and bans. Any other work as far as implementing or researching this would be at the city's cost. So the direction requested is to seek what council's vision is for the smoking control, what envisioned when it had this on the legislative agenda item, and then identifying what regulatory activities council is interested in being analyzed and brought back for consideration of council in the future. And then additionally, if in that process there's any specific information or analysis that council wants to ensure is included, to let us know that as well, and we'll make sure that's included as part of that process. And that completes the presentation.
Sure. I'll start with Councilmember Bracco.
Bryce, at the beginning of your presentation, did I see right that you're putting rules on all the businesses in town too?
No, this is it's already in the code. So this is This actually may have predated, so it's a lot of regulation came as far as smoking indoors, restaurants, etc. So this is a legacy ordinance, so that's already in effect.
Okay.
If that explains it, yeah. And some of these codes may predate further tobacco regulations have already come down from the state in between when that original ordinance was adopted to the present day.
But going around businesses in town, most of them don't sell cigarettes anymore. It's like, what, 4 tobacco retailers we have?
So we have, so yes,
More?
the finance department's reported there's 50 permits that they're currently issued.
Okay.
What is the time frame on that grant? Does it have an expiration date?
The end of this calendar year.
Okay, so December 31. Okay. I'm just trying to see, I know this is part of our legislative agenda, but it's also on the work plan. For admin work plan, it's discretionary, so, where does that fall? And I know we're going through changes right now, and especially with our new city administrator, so to me, I don't know if right now is the time to take it on because we're trying to figure some stuff out and maybe table that for a little bit of time to come back. I don't know. I don't know what other people's thoughts are.
If I can get away on that one. So one of the concepts for coming early to council to seek that is to identify the strategies that council may not want to have included in that. So we've provided the menu of options. And so we really kind of identify what council is interested in pursuing and if there's items that council doesn't have an appetite to address in that. And that helps us control the universe of analysis that we're going to be doing and makes us be able to produce more quickly. And jumping out now, we have the full 2 years of the work plan process to complete it. We can still do work beyond the grant. And if there's other items that are of the interest to council, that would be outside the grant. But it's a relatively low cost. It's more on the implementation side where those funds will come.
Councilmember Hilton.
So over the past 12 years, there used to be something called the South County United for Health, started by Supervisor Wasserman like 12, 13 years ago. And slowly that group has had different representatives on there, but they all still keep in touch. So that same coalition that emailed us those 2 public comments is the same coalition that's come back every year. It's like, do the parks, do this, do that. And I agree with you, Councilmember Klein. Like, we are in a busy time, but the grant specifically itself that I've been working on with public health and with others was is to really sort of go after that tobacco retail license, right? In that specific aspect, staying away from citywide businesses and trying to get involved in what we did a couple of years ago. I would say that we have the expertise with public health department to lean on along with them and their coalition. So I don't think would be a huge heavy lift to be able to outsource portions of this funding that we have to get those expertise for them to come in. And a couple of things that this is really rooted in. You were talking about vision. I'd mentioned the Latino health assessment earlier. We were actually a champion on a lot of this stuff back in 2011, 2012. One of the first cities to start, doing a lot of these tobacco prevention policies in the Healthy Cities dashboard. And then we kind of tapered off a little bit. So this is sort of us coming back up with the norm. But, I'm really wanting to make sure that we focus on addressing health challenges, including, poor nutrition, smoking, diabetes, lack of exercise. Gilroy still is one of the highest, in the county when it comes to those things. Frequent and recurring exposure to secondhand smoke specifically can cause health problems such as asthma, heart disease, lung cancer, stroke, sudden infant death syndrome, and as well as worsened chronic illnesses. But while we are getting this work done, and like I said, a lot of this work's already started, I would like us to take that we did get on the legislative work plan to be able to look at the moratorium. It's super easy to do. We already have copies of it. There's best practices. Campbell went through this, and the reason why Campbell went through it is because they had something like 42 just pumping out, and they had no regulations in place, and they had no way to say, stop, stop, stop. And I'll give you an example that happened in Gilroy, is that we had one of those establishments open up down on Forest and Leavesley, which was one of the ones that got in trouble earlier this year for selling flavored tobacco products and some hallucinogenics, some magic mushrooms. 4 of them got cited. 1 there, and then that new one up on Monterey Road that just happened to pop up. It's 1,000 feet away, which is regulatory, that's fine. But right in the middle of there, our mayor was there at the groundbreaking, is Santa Clara Family Health Plan is putting in a community resource center in the middle of these tobacco shops that I'm sure the 50 that are on that list that might be selling a pack of cigarettes or cigar, I'm not worried about those. But it's the children that are inside of our schools and those young that are vulnerable that go towards vaping for coping and that kind of stuff. So I just want to make sure that, number one, that at least at a very minimum, we can do what's in that grant and move forward with that. Have public health help us with that, and do a moratorium. Look, and like I said, we have the language that's available, and we could. I mean, it's quick enough that we could bring it back next meeting after after city attorney reviews it, if we wanted to. But I just want to throw all those out on the table. That is a possibility for another one to be going through the process right now and opening up. Thank you.
Sure. Councilmember Fugazzi.
So, 50 permits, but we don't have 50 open stores in the city. Is that fair to say? I mean, do we think it's 20 that we have in the city? Is it 50? I mean, again, if you're going to have a moratorium on something, how do you know how many is the right number to have, right? Is part of that. Many of the other parts of these things I'm not a fan of at all, because I think adults can do what adults want to do. Anything that's pointed towards the kids, including those that are grandfathered in to be less than 1,000 feet or whatever, I'm all for figuring out how they can't sell it to anybody else and grandfather it to the next owner of it, and we can work those out of the system. Super fan of jacking up all the fines and everything else we can possibly do for people who are violating, who are selling things that they shouldn't be selling in these, whether it be drug paraphernalia or magic mushrooms or any of these kind of things that happen. I'm super in favor of creating even a bonding program where if you want to create a new TRP, then you have to put up $10,000, right? That slowly goes back to you as you don't have any fines or you don't have any violations. That makes them be on the hook. So I do think that we do have a very filled calendar right now, and if somebody were to say, yeah, but there's $250,000 of money out there waiting for us, you might pique my interest a little bit more on that. But right now I don't know that it's a good time, and for me the only things I would really be looking at is making it harder to maybe open a business, only such that they have to really have skin in the game, that they have to lose if they do it the wrong way. That's about all I can say.
Councilmember Ramirez. Oops, sorry, Councilmember Klein, you're next.
So, thank you, Bryce. Can you go back to the slide that talked, go back, grant funding. There we go. Okay, so we've got this $40,000 grant. It's already been granted. And what exactly does it cover? Does it cover staff time to study this?
This is a great question. So this covers costs for legal review. So in pursuing the ordinance, it would cover city attorney's time. It covers time and costs for our business license company, HUDL, in order to do the process they would have to do to implement whatever measures are come from the direction from council on these two. It also covers development of advertisement, public education materials. That's a very large part of that as well.
And is it expected to cover all the costs if we move on something?
No, it'll cover all the costs up to that certain amount within those categories. So if we go beyond the budget, obviously
we're going to still have to dip into the general fund in order to complete whatever project or whatever direction we go.
It would be more. There could be a small amount of general fund. That's one of the analysis. Once we have the options of what council is going to pursue, we can identify what those funds are. But a lot of the work really is administrative, so it's staff. It's basically the opportunity cost of what staff spends the time doing. And
it's time away from other legislative items that we have on our.
Yeah, it'd be a balancing between the different directions from council.
Thank you. My interest at this point is I would support flavored tobacco restrictions because I think that they are directed specifically to kids. Other than that, I think to echo Councilmember Fugazi, adults are adults. Again, I don't mind increasing fines if they are in violation. In fact, I am certainly not opposed to shutting down immediately first-time offenses. If you're selling things you're not supposed to be selling, mushrooms and things like that, shut it down. Very simple. And then we don't have to deal with it. It doesn't cost us anything. It's just done. But as far as adults buying cigarettes at the other places, I just, that's up to adults.
Councilmember Klein.
Well, it's behavioral is what we're talking about, and I think a big component of this is education. I think with like the youth task force that we have and what they bring into the schools, especially with the different demographics of our community and how they're impacted. It's important to get that education in there and showing them not just some of these things are great, but to legislate that behavior can be tough because people are going to do what people are going to do. So that's my concern with that too, that component of education and really helping the kids see don't do that.
And if I can just comment back about like if there's going to be funds that go beyond this, this is really just a policy to put in place, and then when there's enforcement or anything that goes on beyond that, it's just a regular thing. Or if they pull a permit, they would say, yeah, but we've already studied the density of tobacco outlets. We're not doing 1,000 anymore. It's 1,500 now. So I wouldn't say that there wouldn't be any more code enforcement or more staff time down the road that would have to go into any of this stuff. But another resource that our city has now, and they partnered with them when they raided those 4 stores, is the state taxation. So the taxation board is now getting involved because a lot of times what happens is that we lose out and the state loses out on sales tax dollars of these places because they say, sure, but hey, my Venmo is this, my Zelle is that, and so they're losing out on that. So that's why the state got involved, and I don't know how that cost share happened for the enforcement thing, but we have teams that go around. And every police department joins up in these task forces around the county to do targeted enforcement to help each other out. So we all help each other out. I don't look at this as like ongoing cost or whatever. It's literally like spend the $40,000, have it all taken back into us, send that message to our organizations and our partners, like South County Youth Task Force and others that are in the community to say, we're also doing something too. And I can tell you, too, I just found out today that one of the organizations that the Santa Clara County Office of Education has called TOOP, and our SR knows what TOOP is. I know what TOOP is because I've tabled next to them. They got, I don't want to say it's defunded, but they're gone. And they were literally in our schools around the county, but in Gilroy schools multiple times, basically talking to kids. I was there at South Valley Middle School during a mental health week, and we were just trying to provide resources. They're there literally because kids go and vape and they use those products to cope. So, this is also showing them too that we are going to make it as hard as possible on these organizations to not put another one in as much as we can. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to go down your route because that's going to take up a whole lot of time and stuff. But what this continues to do is to show our partners who came to us, who came to Bryce and came to me and said, we have grant funding. Do you want some? It's because we're continuing to have that relationship and being a partner. So, I don't want to say, hopefully we're not going in the direction we say no to this, but at the same time, we say yes to this and allow them to do this. It could open up something in the next couple of years, where someone says, hey, actually, you know what? We appreciated everything you did. These coalitions that write in for public comment, we appreciate what you did. There's private funding now available, or this organization is going to give you more money, or I don't know, maybe someone hears the call that TOOP got canceled, and there's a way to bring that organization back. So thank you for letting me go on a little bit. Appreciate it.
I have a question regarding, I think you mentioned there's 50 some odd permits for selling tobacco. So that would include like a gas station on the side of town that's selling cigarettes, right?
Correct.
And this idea of moratorium, the one you spoke about and the one that you said potentially, you're suggesting the smoke shops, not a moratorium to sell tobacco products.
Correct. It would be very specific, so that way I'm not going to name them out, but those, especially those that got raided and those type of shops that open up are not allowed during the time period where we are discussing this. That's what I'm proposing.
So how many of those are in town right now? That's like the question I have.
There's at least 6. I don't know, maybe the PD can say it, but I know 6 because
What's a good number?
6. What do you mean?
No,
that's not what we're saying. I'm not trying to regulate on a max amount of retailers that are allowed. That's not the discussion we're getting into. We're saying there's a moratorium until we can figure out what the tobacco density is, how far away apart they can be from one another. Right now it's 1,000 feet, and they can't be within schools within 500 feet. We're not going to legislate and say no more than 40 are allowed in the city. That's not the direction.
You're saying it's not good enough the way it is right now at 1,000 feet.
If I could just iterate, so there's no distance right now between vendors.
I think it's 1,000. It's 1,000 feet.
Is 1,000 feet between a school and a vendor.
That's what I thought.
There's no density restriction in the code between vendors at this point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more difficult. They
I think
pop up
it's
anywhere.
500 feet for schools and 1,000 between vendors, but I've been reading this over a lot.
I think we all understand now. We've defined that there's 50 some odd to be able to sell tobacco, but right now we're talking about the smoke shops. So okay.
Yeah, and what my point is I'm not a big person in favor of trying to figure out what the market needs to bear for people that want to have smoke shops, right? And I get that people don't want kids doing it, but that's kind of what organizations and parents and everything else are for in that respect. And I don't know that we know that, and I hate to use this word, but we have enough for the market in town to say no more, okay? They will self-regulate to what the market demand will be. That's the kind of person the way I look at things is the market demand. So I don't like the idea of just going, yeah, we're going to stop this, and then we're going to tell you exactly how many we're going to have and how far apart they're going to be and all of that. I'm just not a fan of that at all. I think that the market will help determine this. You put the right regulations on people to say they can't sell to these people or these people. Maybe it's an advertising thing, so you can't have a fruity banana thing out front to sell, vapes or something. But outside of that, I don't think we need to spend more cycles on this to work on it. At least not in this fiscal year for sure. But
well, I'm willing to put it on the record because this is what I think it is. I think it's 500 feet from you can't have it near a school, and the reason why St. Mary's is allowed, that smoke shop on First Street that puts out the smoke shop sign, the A-frame, is allowed to be so close to St. Mary's is because we started regulating this in 2012, and they've been open forever. But they weren't on that list that get rated anyways. I mean, should they be there? Whatever. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, and they're allowed to be grandfathered. And one of the tobacco density things that we could do, and I'm not suggesting we do it, is you could say we want one tobacco shop for every 1,000 people, right? That was an option that was sitting in here. It's like you could do that, or you could do, for like the density, the feet wise. I think it is they are not allowed to be within 1,000 feet of each other. I'm pretty sure because I measured the distance. So I'm going to say that what this will do is this will study that and allow us to, because we're not making a decision tonight. This will allow us to bring it back, and staff could say the 1,000 is fine. That's what the market wants or whatever, but we suggest it should be maybe 1,500, or we can go up to 2,000 at that point. But I'm not suggesting that we all of a sudden get in the business of trying to say how many should be in town. That was never the point of this, and that wouldn't be a part of my motion, and that's not a part of this density thing that we got the grant funding for either.
Can I make a motion?
Not yet. We have to go to public comment.
Sorry.
I have no speakers.
Okay. So before Councilmember Ramirez gets to make her motion, is there any more comments? Because again, I don't believe that we're taking action on this tonight. We're just giving direction. So it sounds like to me that we're in agreement on most of the comments tonight. We might be a little bit of disagreement on the direction we're giving regarding a potential moratorium, not a moratorium, a potential moratorium, right?
Well, I want to put that on the table, because if we're going to do a moratorium during this, we need to make that decision tonight. I'm not held to the moratorium. If you want to take that off the table, but then that's fine. But I don't want to lose out on this work and what's already been. Frankly, we got a grant for it, and it's not reinventing any wheel. All this stuff exists out there. It's not going to be hard to do.
So I appreciate the work you've done. I appreciate the collaboration with the other agencies and creating ongoing relationships with these in terms of what we can do moving forward. I just personally don't want a lot of staff attention at this time given, other than perhaps to, ban the sale of, look into what it would be to ban the sale of flavored tobacco, because I think that is directed at the youth. And the other thing is looking at just creating a policy where if these tobacco shops are doing things they're not supposed to be doing, they're shut down.
So that one is outside the scope of the grant.
Oh, okay. So that one is outside. Darn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you wouldn't mind also maybe looking at reduced density of tobacco outlets, because experts already do that. And they can bring the decision back to you.
I'm going to leave that piece up to others. I don't have a passion for that one way or the other, so if others do, I just...
So imagine Monterey Road being lined up nowhere near a school with a bunch of smoke shops. It already happened. It happened right in the middle, right in between a community center. It happened already, and both those places were raided.
Why don't you go ahead and kind of clarify and wrap up what you believe everyone is about to agree to, and then you can make your statement on the moratorium. And let's see, because we just need direction, correct? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, we're certainly not adopting a moratorium.
Right. No. But he could kind of wrap up his opinion.
So if you could go back to that slide but with the grant, it had those two options on it. So my direction would be that basically continue the work that we're doing with this $40,000, finish it out by the calendar year. Thankfully we have someone like Bryce who's been working on this as the assistant city administrator. Not going to give you another task to learn how to do, but this, having a full-time city clerk, this is exactly the kind of stuff that Bryce was already working on. And if there happens to be another monitoring that needs to get done, it's paid for. So the focus would be these two decision items that they can bring back to us before the end of the calendar year. If I can get that through and say, forget about the moratorium, if I could get us to at least agree on that.
How many man hours are we talking about here? Just roughly.
So to bring the internal process to bring the items to council, we're probably talking 15 to 20 hours.
Plus legal, right?
It's the plus the legal. Where it becomes a challenge is the implementation side, which is what a lot of this money is for, and that's the working with HDL and others to actually implement and do the educational materials.
Now, do you have an extra 15 or 20, or could we possibly use that time better against the swimming pool issue that we happen to have, that it's also going to be in your wheelhouse to get finished up? Or you have surplus?
So the reason we're doing this is identify and make sure we do proper balance. So I can get additional staff support. So the recreation is definitely a higher priority, but it's also a much bigger project. That one's going to take a lot. This one, there's already support that we have with public health for these items of the grant, so they have consultants who also assist with this. So that's why
So they'd be idle if we didn't give them this?
I'm sorry, say again?
They'd be idle if we didn't give them this?
They'd be working on, I'm assuming, other cities. I don't know what they would be.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're consultants paid by the county. There's no cost impact to us for this. Except for our staff time. I meant as far as their consultant time.
Okay, so Councilmember Hilton wrapped up his comments, and he did not include the conversation about a moratorium at this point in time.
I'll take it off if that helps. Yeah. You guys allow this work to continue, and I know we have a lot of stuff that we balanced over the last 6 months, but to me we have more partners and more skin in the game in something like this than we do with a swimming pool. So, I mean, I don't want to do tit for tat on that kind of stuff. Just please let this move forward. It's already bad enough that tube got lost, and we have funding for it, right? We always tell city staff or whatever, go out and find us grant funding.
This is something that's really not that important to me, but it's something that I've voted in favor of it every time for Councilmember Hilton because it is important to him. So
I appreciate
I'll
it.
support it.
And I'll support it.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Looks like we have a majority of direction.
Thank you.
We come back with that pool.
Yeah, everyone gave a thumbs up already, or an affirmative action. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Nice, great job. Great questions.
And staff is clear on the direction, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a 10-minute break and be back here at 8:25, please. Thank you.
I go with you. How are you? Very good. How are you? Good to see you.
All right.
That was pretty slick the way you handled the nominations. Yeah, we've never been done. How did you? Did you ever work about the powers of the clerk versus because the clerk has independent duties, like she's an election. On the other hand, she cleans office.
And it's only 20% of that, 25%? I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, but I mean, it was a complicated memo to figure out the relationship of the two.
But I did hear.
Oh yeah, very much so. She had a power. Yeah, not always observed.
Yeah, expand. That's what the problem is. That was absolutely.
And then, is Dion able to make that, or
He has responded.
Oh, okay, I'll ask him. Okay. That should be fine. I'll go home and look at it. All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. No, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Friday evening, yeah, we had Wednesday. Well, we had Wednesday council meeting, so it'd go out Friday. Yeah.
Well, don't say anything.
I was going to blame for another. I'm going to sit here. Yeah. Oh.
Thanks, sir.
Really close.
Chinese perception. That's why I like shopping. It's not hard. I like shopping. Oh, you're pro. Who's missing here? The administrator's late. Gotzi's late. It's usually. Okay, thank you, everybody, for the break. Moving on to item 8.3, 6-month update on the Gilroy Police Department Therapy Dog Program. Captain Luke Powell.
Good evening, Mayor Bozo, council members, and community members. My name is Captain Luke Powell. I'm here to provide you with a 6-month update on the Therapy Dog Pilot Program. This program originated as a class project by Leadership Gilroy, class of 2024, with the goal of introducing therapy dogs to the Gilroy community. Therapy Canine Maui was adopted from the San Martin Animal Shelter and trained under the guidance of Mary Cortani and the incredible team at Operation Freedom Paws. He began his service with the Gilroy Police Department in early 2025, assigned to School Resource Officer Dustin Odell. Maui's role is to respond to elevated cortisol levels, those stress hormones we all carry, and provide comfort through physical touch, leaning into someone, resting his head on their lap, or just being present. These moments, though small, have had a powerful impact, particularly in schools, with victims of crime, and at community events. Since the program launched, Canine Maui has quickly become a valued member of the Gilroy community. He regularly visits campuses throughout the Gilroy Unified School District. Students and staff alike have embraced his calming presence. Beyond schools, Maui has supported 6 interviews involving victims of violent crime, 2 multidisciplinary interviews, 1 with the district attorney's office, and 3 school-based interviews with students dealing with trauma. He's also present in daily schools, counseling sessions, providing an extra layer of support. To prepare for this important work, Maui has completed 141 hours of training through Operation Freedom Paws and earned several certifications, including Canine Good Citizen, AKC's Urban and Community Canine, and OFP's Therapy Dog certification. Maui has also documented 9 cortisol alerts, each corresponding to traumatic incidents such as deaths in the family or household crisis. Maui's influence reaches far beyond schools and interviews. He's attended 23 public events, everything from Read Across America and School Career Days to National Night Out and the Gilroy Garlic Festival. He has also built quite a following online. His Instagram page has almost 600 followers and received nearly 10,000 views in the past 30 days. This platform allows us to tell stories about Maui's work, highlighting the program's successes, and connect with the community in a new and meaningful way. Kids love his custom stickers. He has even signed yearbooks and made appearances in coloring pages that are hit with elementary school students. Inside City Hall, Maui has also played a role visiting every city department as part of our employee wellness outreach. This is what success looks like: less stress, more connection, and strong community engagement. Now let's talk about costs. Maui's care and support are funded entirely through the police department's existing K-9 budget. In the first 6 months, the program cost $4,383, which included food and supplies, veterinary services, and Officer Dell's monthly K-9 pay. Some costs were slightly higher due to startup purchases, such as his crate, leashes, and bowls. But those were one-time expenses necessary to ensure Maui's comfort and effectiveness in the field. We've received praise from Gilroy Unified School District, city staff, and the broader community. This program is about more than a dog. It's about strengthening the bond between our department and the people we serve. Thank you for your continued support. I'd now like to open it up to any questions you may have.
Questions for Captain Powell? Any questions for Dustin? He's here with Maui. No? Comment? You can comment.
I just want to say congratulations. I think this is not just addressing the needs that you identified in your presentation. It's just overall a great community policing effort and makes police officers more approachable, and I just think it's fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say, add us to those comments of people that praise, what you're all doing. I appreciate it. And, no matter what community event we go to, I turn around and Officer Odell is usually there with Maui, and he's, super popular, and I'm a dog owner myself. So, just having that in like this professional atmosphere where I can't bring my dog Winston here to hang out, even though my family always says, take him with you. This is really cool. And I think it's impactful. And, ever since I've been more involved in politics and hearing about organizations like Leadership Gilroy, I know the projects they have every year, but this is one that I keep noticing over and over and over, and it's had a huge impact. And I hope that they know that as well, that we continue to see us and how many people that Maui actually, touches or leans in on realistically. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would say just observing them out at the Garlic Festival, they had a great time, but also you could see just the interaction there, all walks of life. They just are, he just is a magnet. We love that Maui. So, and Leadership Gilroy, shout outs to them for originating this and making it happen. So, way to go.
Thank you.
Captain Powell, is there any more specific direction you're looking for us, or just on your report?
Just a 6-month report.
Thank you very much for the update, and appreciate it very much. Thank you very much, Officer Odell. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Officer Maui, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay, moving on to item 8.4.
Mayor, I do have public comment on this.
Oh, sorry.
I have two speakers, Janet Crewley, followed by Greg Filios.
After I waited that whole time, Greg, you were just going to cut me out? Okay, so I am part of Leadership Gilroy, and so I am here tonight to speak on behalf of Maui and hopefully Bailey. I don't know if you guys have heard about Bailey, but I'll speak a little bit more about her in just a minute. I was here 6 months ago when you gave conditional approval for Maui, and I believed in Healing Plaza as a Leadership Gilroy program then, and I obviously believe in it hugely even more now. I was excited to see Maui get to know our community, and boy, has he been a hit. Having Maui be with SRO Odell has been genius. The kids love him and have felt such a connection, bringing positive PD interaction and boosting mental health with the students and staff. I know you just talked about vaping and coping, and I was thinking in my head, that's an alternative right there. This past weekend at Gilroy Garlic Festival, I was behind Maui. We were walking, and all I heard was kids and people saying, Maui, Maui, there's Maui, it's Maui. Just that impact right there. I've never heard community have that before with anything. It's so positive. On to Bailey. During Gilroy Garlic Festival, I also got to come into contact with Bailey, who I'm hoping will be up for conditional approval here soon, as an additional therapy dog with Gilroy Police Department. 2019 was a hard year for association members, and at our traditional extinguishing of the bulb flame, I watched many association members hug and actively seek out Bailey for interaction and just a pet and hug. I was one of them, and I cannot say how much that helped in that time. So she is already making a difference in our community. So to close tonight, on so close to Maui's one-year gotcha anniversary, and if you follow him on social media, you would know that. And because National Night Out is tomorrow, I ask that you permanently approve Maui, and tonight I thought it was like a 6-month, report, and then if you guys were going to approve that, he stay. So I don't know if that's what's happening, but I do ask that you permanently approve Maui and also approve Bailey to be added to continue healing hearts and bringing smiles to our community and students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Go ahead.
I'm not a dog lover, but this isn't just a dog. This is our goodwill ambassador. Take this dog anywhere, and this is exactly what diplomats should be like. Okay, so you can call it ambassador, diplomat. Oh, you can't beat this. How much does it? I mean, people go, oh, but they're so expensive. $4,000? That's peanuts. $4,000 for an ambassador, for a diplomat, for someone like this. I'm telling you. We got another one. Bailey's coming up. Oh, you gotta get another one like this. We can have even more if we get a chance. But I don't want to get too far ahead. But let's go with the 2 then, okay? Let's go with this one. Let's go with Maui. Let's go with Bailey. You can't beat this. The Gilroy Unified School District. This is their godsend. My goodness. Officer Odell did a presentation today at the Gilroy Unified School District, and all the superintendent and all the support staff were there, and all they could say was, "We got to use this." I don't know how Maui and Officer Odell do it. Hey, again, it's very simple. It doesn't cost much, and look at the benefits. Very simple. Okay, that's all I got to say. We're supportive. I'm part of the community, and the community supports it. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, sorry, I got a little rushed there. So any other questions?
No further speakers.
Thank you. Any more questions from staff for Captain Powell? None? Okay, so you have our direction that I tried to state earlier. Thank you very much for the update. Unfortunately, for some, there's not on the agenda for funding opportunities and conversations right now, but great job, you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item 8.4. Introduce an ordinance adopting by reference the 2025 California Building Codes with amendments, and set a public hearing on August 18th, 2025 for adoption of the ordinance. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, and members of the community. Sharon Goey, Community Development Director. We're here before you tonight to introduce ordinance for adopting new building codes and new fire codes. We're doing a combined presentation covering both item 8.4 and 8.5 on the agenda, since the process and the timeline are the same for these codes. I'm sorry to disappoint you that we don't have a dog or any animals. All you'll get is the community development team. So here's the process for a typical triennial code adoption cycle. This is a simplified timeline. Every 3 years, model code organizations update the model building codes, which are then adopted and amended by the California Building Standards Commission to form the California Building Standards Code. This is also referred to as the Title 24 of the California Code of Regulations. This is a set of codes that regulate the design and construction of buildings, facilities, and associated equipment throughout California. Right now, we're adopting the 2025 codes to replace the 2022 codes. An extensive public participation process is conducted by the Building Standards Commission that involves public comments, code advisory committee hearings, and actually staff serves on 2 out of the 6 committees, and Building Standards Commission hearings. Through these code development processes, each code cycle update improves safety, sustainability, and resiliency, and also they incorporate new technology, design, and new construction methods and materials. The result of all these efforts is the publication of new codes. In July this year, the Building Standards Commission published the 2025 codes. Between July and January, that's the statutorily required 180-day period between the publication date and the effective date. On January 1st, 2026, the new codes will become effective and applicable statewide. In a normal year, the 180-day period allows for education and training and also allows for the adoption and filing process. But this year, we have a very unique challenge. So AB 130, that was signed into law on June 30th by the governor. This is part of the state budget trailer bills. AB 130 prohibits local jurisdictions from making local amendments to residential building standards from October 1st this year through June 1st, 2031. That's approximately 2 code cycles. This is unless local jurisdictions are able to make local modifications that are substantially equivalent to modifications previously filed and are effective by September 30th this year. AB 130 has significantly accelerated the local adoption timeline, compressing a typically 3 to 4 month process to just a few weeks. In a normal code cycle, jurisdictions receive the new set of codes between July and August, and then subsequently building officials and fire marshals across the state, across all the jurisdictions, review the new codes, attend training, collaborate regionally, and develop local amendments between August and November. And as a result of AB 130, this timeline has significantly been compressed, requiring all the local amendments to residential standards to be effective no later than September 30th in order to be permissible. And to make the AB 130 timeline, staff has taken a proactive approach, dedicating several weeks and weekends to review and analyze the digital version of the new codes. We don't actually have a physical copy of the codes yet, even because they're all in back order. And even with the physical copy of codes, in the past you would see us with all the current code books open, new code books open, code books on top of each other because it's a very detailed and technical review. So right now, this time we've had to work with a digital version of the code. So imagine if you walk by our area, you've seen the volumes of codes, and we had to do that all digitally, scrolling through tens of thousands of pages. So it was very challenging, but we got it done. Staff did work under this very expedited timeline, so minor adjustments or corrections might be necessary if we identify some errors or inconsistencies later. But from this work, staff developed a code adoption ordinance with local amendments to ensure that Gilroy's current safety, sustainability, and resilience goals are carried over from the current code cycle into the next code cycle. So you can see here just a graphic depiction of what we're talking about. The top portion is a normal timeline without AB 130. This is where the local amendment process is a 3 to 4 month process, and staff would take the ordinance to council in November. Under AB 130, this became just a few weeks. Staff normally would not rush such large ordinance to council, but the state gave us really no choice with the newly enacted state law. And if we didn't rush and bring this to council, we would not be able to maintain the same level of protection and safety for our residents for the next 2 code cycles. So here's an overview of the local adoption process. The procedures for adopting codes by reference are set forth in the government code. They're different from the usual procedures. When adopting codes by reference, the first reading is to introduce ordinance and setting a public hearing for adoption, and that's tonight. And because of AB 130, this timeline got shifted up. And then the second reading, right now we're looking at August 18th for the council to set. That's the public hearing for adoption of the ordinances. And public hearing notices are governed by the Government Code, Section 6066. And Health and Safety Code governs the local amendment process. local jurisdiction can make more restrictive amendments to the California codes, but not less restrictive. And we have to also to make express findings that the local amendments are necessary because of local climatic, geological, or topographic conditions. The adoption ordinances, including the local amendments and the findings, have to be filed with the Building Standards Commission. And the new set of codes with the local amendments will become effective and applicable on January 1st, 2026. In our proposed ordinance, these are the codes included listed on this slide. So as mentioned, we try to organize them into two ordinances. That's the two items. The code titles in blue, they are covered under item 8.4 on the agenda. Just collectively, we refer to them as the building codes. And the code titles in red, those are under item 8.5, and collectively, we just call them fire codes. And the photo to the left show the 2025 codes, but these codes also reference many other standards that are developed nationally, and that's not even shown here, but they're all being referenced through the codes. And the photo below shows a comparison between the 1994 codes and the 2022 codes. And as I mentioned, we don't have a physical copy yet of the 2022 codes, but you can see the codes, they get improved, they become more thorough, but that also means staff has to attend a lot more training to keep up with all the current codes and new standards and new technology. So in line with AB 130, staff's proposing to carry forward the same local amendments approved during the prior code cycles. This will be for 2 cycles for residential standards because of AB 130, that timeline that prohibits us from adopting any changes. And for non-residential standards, this will be for the next code cycle. And this effort will ensure that we maintain the current level of protection and safety for our residents and businesses, and that Gilroy's safety, sustainability, and resiliency goals are carried over and continue. And these amendments, along with the findings that support them, are included in the ordinance. These local amendments address local conditions, as I mentioned, and they also improve life safety, fire safety, and seismic safety. So now our building official is going to highlight the set of building codes and local amendments for you, and then he'll be followed by our fire marshal.
So, good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. My name is Hipólito Olmos. I'm the building official here at the City of Gilroy. For the building code adoption, staff recommend adoption by reference with the current local amendments being carried forward to ensure uniformity and consistency. These amendments include clarification that permit fees are based on our adopted local fee schedule, that fire safety improvements such as fire sprinklers are consistent with the fire code, and seismic and foundation standards are tailored to our soil and earthquake risks. This building code allows for alternate design methods and materials permitted under the California Building Code to be used, ensuring flexibility for engineers and builders. For the residential code, staff recommend adoption by reference, with the current local amendments being carried forward. The proposed amendments also specify that all applicable fees will be based on our locally adopted comprehensive fee schedule. Additionally, consistent with current practice, plan review fees are due at the time of submission and prior to the start of the review process. For the electrical code, staff recommend adoption by reference, with the existing local amendments and appendices carried forward. The amendments address the undergrounding of electrical service conductors, reducing the risk of damage from fire and high winds. Another amendment requires main disconnects to be located on the first floor, enabling quick access during emergencies and helping protect residents and the first responders. The plumbing code, like the previous codes, staff recommend adoption by reference, with the current local amendments carried forward to keep our codes current and align with existing practices. The amendments include the requirement to use Type L copper tubing or better to address the challenges posed by our local soils conditions. Additionally, guidelines for sanitary cleanout placement remain in effect, ensuring compliance with city standards. For the Energy Code, adopt by reference with the existing local amendments carried forward. The two existing appendices support energy standards and enforcement. This helps maintain clarity and consistent application and inspections without adding new requirements, upholding our community's commitment to energy efficiency. For the existing building code, adopt by reference with the existing local appendices carried forward. The four appendices address seismic strengthening of reinforced masonry building walls, earthquake hazard reduction, strengthening techniques for crippled walls, and reference standards for clarity. We're back on. Regarding the mechanical and historical building codes, adopt by reference without local amendments and maintaining our current standards and practices. For the property maintenance code and the swimming pool and spa codes, adopt by reference with current local amendments carried forward. The International Swimming Pool and Spa Code provide comprehensive California compliance standards for swimming pools, plumbing, and mechanical equipment. The adoption of the International Property Maintenance Code allows us to continue the use of enhanced property maintenance codes that help improve housing standards, property maintenance standards, and protect our residents' well-being. The Green Building Standards Code, adopt by reference, with the current local amendments being carried forward. The proposed amendments continue our sustainability initiatives, such as new 1- and 2-family homes and townhouses with private garages will continue to require Level 2 EV-ready receptacles, promoting sustainable transportation. The amendments also maintain existing bicycle parking requirements, such as 1 bicycle parking space per 5% of visitor parking for multifamily buildings for short-term parking, and 1 long-term bicycle parking space per dwelling unit, and for hotels and motels requiring 1 long-term bicycle parking space per 25 rooms or fraction of. These amendments support sustainable transportation options, encourage active travel, reduce vehicles on the road, and help improve quality of life.
In addition to what was previously stated by Sharon and Hippo, we're going to be introducing the California Fire Code for adoption, including local amendments. Many of the local changes Gilroy previously adopted in the 2022 code cycle have now been incorporated into the state code. As a result, our amendment package has actually been reduced from 38 pages, 40 pages to 32 pages. This reflects a collaborative effort between the Santa Clara County Fire Marshals Group to maintain consistency across the region while addressing Gilroy's unique conditions like topography and wildfire risk. Here's an example of one of our local amendments related to residential fire sprinkler systems. These enhancements ensure coverage in high-risk areas like garages, attics, outdoor covered spaces in the WUI zone, wildland urban interface. We also require audible alarms to alert occupants or neighbors if the system activates. These provisions are practical and preventative, helping to limit water and fire damage and protect both people and property. Chapter 49 of the Fire Code, which previously addressed the wildland urban interface areas, has been largely removed. The relevant language now points to the new California WUI Code, Part 7. That's where all the updated requirements for homes in the fire hazard zones are now located. In Gilroy, these apply to homes in the residential hillside zones as well as to those in moderate and high fire hazard severity zones. The 2025 WUI Code consolidates fire-safe construction requirements into one place. These provisions used to be scattered across the building code, residential code, and the fire code. By consolidating them, the state has improved clarity and consistency. The new WUI Code will apply to new homes and significant remodels in areas of elevated fire risk within Gilroy, just as before, but now under a unified and more accessible format. For the Wildland Urban Interface Code, the key requirements, the slide reinforces that these requirements are not new to Gilroy, and we've been enforcing many of these standards in the hillside zones for years. The difference now is that the state has formalized these WUI codes, making it easier for cities like ours to reference and enforce them consistently. The key requirements in the WUI zone, here are some of the key construction features required: Class A roofs, non-combustible walls, ember-resistant vents, and tempered or multi-pane windows. These building features help protect homes from wind-blown embers and radiant heat, which are two of the main ways homes ignite in wildfires. The new Zone 0 defensible space requirements. The most significant new addition is the Zone 0 requirement, which addresses the 0 to 5 feet immediately surrounding a structure. This space must be now kept completely free of combustible materials, no bark, mulch, wooden fencing, or vegetation that could ignite. Zone 0 is based on extensive fire research and is a critical buffer in reducing structure ignitions during wildfires.
All right, so here's a quick summary. Staff's proposed ordinances are to adopt by reference the 2025 California codes with the same local amendments carried forward, consistent with previous code cycles. And you've heard about some of the codes where the amendments, actually, our local amendments were already incorporated into the base code. So in those cases, we're carrying forward just the remaining amendments. But basically, the effect is going to be the same. We're trying to maintain the same level of protection for our community. The findings that support them are based on local conditions, and they're included in the proposed ordinance. Adopting these latest codes with local amendments will help ensure that buildings and structures in Gilroy will safeguard the public's health, safety, and general welfare. And tonight we're seeking council direction to introduce the ordinance and set a public hearing on August 18th. And once adopted, staff will file the ordinance with the Building Standards Commission. This way it will meet AB 130 timeline. And the new set of codes with local amendments will become effective and applicable on January 1st. And here I have one slide that corresponds to the set of building codes, and another one that's for the fire code here. Per state law, the title of each code to be adopted by reference has to be specified in the title of the ordinance. That's why, for example, C number 2, it's pretty long, but that's required. I want to take this opportunity to recognize our team, recognize our building official, Hippolyto Olmos, and our fire marshal, Jonathan Quick, and also our senior hazardous material inspector, Isaiah Slona. Even though he's not here, I can assure you they've all worked a lot of hours to make this happen so that we can bring this to council to ensure that we maintain the current level of safety and protection for our community. So happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Questions for staff? Well, I have one. Sorry, I know this is rare, but I have a question about vegetation around the building. You said, I believe it was Jonathan that said it was a little bit subjective. about vegetation around a building.
Yeah,
So
it's
could
cool.
you-
These are going to be changes for when people are building a new home and landscaping in the hillside areas. So this applies, if you can go back in your mind to that late night presentation I gave on the fire hazard severity zone maps, this would apply to those yellow and orange areas in the hillside, the residential hillside zone, the moderate and the high fire hazard severity zones, and it'd be for new homes. And okay, there we go. So it would apply to a smaller percentage of the city. Fortunately, Gilroy has, as far as the construction of the home, Gilroy already has been set for more than 20 years. So this wasn't a shock to us. But, as you're have a landscaping company, this is going to be a little bit of a change. So people won't have the usual bark or mulch around the house. Maybe they could put decomposed granite, something non-combustible, because the plants can catch on fire and then they'll spread it to the house. Also, the fences have been acting as a wick. In firestorms, people have evacuated their house, and the fence catches on fire and brings the fire to the house, and the house burns down. So what they found is by having this 0 to 5 feet zone, the homes survive. So it's actually got evidence behind it.
You had one other comment in there about outdoor structures that were covered. Is that also in these areas? It's not for the entire city, correct?
Outdoor structures.
Yeah, you talked about there was outdoor structures that might require sprinklers. It said outdoor covered structures.
Oh, so in some of the custom homes built in the hillside, they like to have these sort of indoor-outdoor rooms. They're like a patio room, so it's not just a small eaves, but it's actually hangs out. And so there would be a few fire sprinkler heads there to prevent any fire that would come up and set the house on fire.
So outdoor detached pergola would not require...
No.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
I got one clarification. So developments like Renfu, we gave them their entitlement, right, to their map, but when they pull the building permit, everything that we've adopted, they're held to that standard of that day. Is that correct?
Yeah, it depends on when they get their building permits
When
submitted.
they pull the permit. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Okay, looks like there's no further questions right now. Public comment?
I have no speakers.
Okay. So I assume that there's no further comments or questions for staff, so I will begin to entertain some motions here. There's going to be quite a few.
If I may make a
Please.
suggestion, start with, although the presentation has merged items 8.4 and 8.5, the motions should be separate. So the first motion would be under item 8.4 to move to read the ordinance by title only and waive further reading of the building code ordinance.
So moved.
Just for 8.4?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a motion by Councilmember Hilton and a second by Councilmember Klein to read the ordinance by title only and waive further reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez? Mayor Bozo?
Yes. The motion passes 7-0.
So it is now appropriate to ask the clerk if she wouldn't mind reading the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gilroy amending Section 6.1, 6.6, and 6.7 of Chapter 6 of the Gilroy Municipal Code, adopting by reference the 2025 California Building Code, 2025 California Residential Code, 2025 California Electrical Code, 2025 California Mechanical Code, 2025 California Plumbing Code, 2025 California Energy Code, 2025 California Historical Building Code, 2025 California Existing Building Code, 2025 California Green Building Standards Code, 2024 International Property Maintenance Code, and 2024 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code with amendments.
All right, so the next motion would be to introduce the ordinance, the title of which the city clerk just read.
So moved.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Marks
Second.
and a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
And the next motion would be to set a public hearing on August 18, 2025, for the adoption of the ordinance pursuant to California Government Code Section 50022.3.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Ramirez and a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
All right, so I may continue then?
Please
Item-
do.
Thank you. Item 8.5 now. The first motion would be to move to read the ordinance by title only and waive further reading. This is for the fire code ordinance.
My motion?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
So it is now appropriate for the city clerk to read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gilroy amending Sections 10.9 and 10.10 of Chapter 10 of the Gilroy Municipal Code, adopting by reference the 2025 California Fire Code and 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code with amendments.
So the next motion should be to introduce the ordinance, the title of which the clerk just read.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Ramirez.
Second?
I have a second by Councilmember Klein. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
All right, so the final motion in this series then is to set a public hearing on August 18, 2025 for the adoption of the ordinance pursuant to California Government Code Section 50022.3.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilmember Marks.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you for the help, everybody.
So that concludes this item, these two items.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 8.6, approval of Gilroy Police Officers Association Memorandum of Understanding and adoption of resolution approving salary schedules for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, members of the Gilroy community. I actually, in my PowerPoint presentation, combined this item with the next item, so because they are interrelated somewhat. So I'm going to cover both things, and then you can go back and take your actions as appropriate. This relates to the Gilroy Police Officers Association MOU and salary resolution, as well as unrepresented exempt employee salary resolutions. So with respect to the Gilroy Police Officers Association, we've been negotiating since March, April of this year, and concluded those negotiations. This labor contract covers about 70 police department employees in the ranks of sergeant, corporal, officer, and our detention services officers. The terms of the agreement that we've come to, consistent with council's direction, is a 3-year term, 7/125 to 6/30/28. Cost of living MOU salary increases of 3% in each fiscal year of the agreement. The retention step F and step G will increase from 2.5% steps to 5% steps, and the G step will require the 10-year service requirement like the other employee groups. The Master Officer program that we currently have in place requires various requirements to qualify. The current program provides a 5% incentive with 10 years of service. This remains in place. The MOU beginning 1/1/28 will add a second tier to the Master Officer program, allowing for a 7.5% benefit incentive if the employee who qualifies meets all the requirements, otherwise has 15 years of service. There's an increase to the city's contribution to medical and dental by 5% each January of the MOU term. There's also a freeze on our medical in lieu benefit cashback program at the 2025 level that actually results in a small cost savings. The retiree medical trust that the Police Officers Association partakes in, currently they are receiving a $300 benefit per month, and they would, this MOU allows that to continue without the sunset clause. There's a termination of the health reimbursement arrangement plan for new hires, again a small cost savings with that item. We have incorporated any side letters or MOU extension agreements as appropriate, and we have some other just general cleanup language and for clarity and compliance. Those are the main terms of the MOU and the changes that will take place if this is approved. The fiscal impact, and I want to point this out because the fiscal impact paragraph in the staff report there was a little bit of confusion between me and the finance director, and the number that ended up in the staff report, the finance director thought that was only attributed to the 3% COLA increases. So I want to make sure it's abundantly clear what we're agreeing to and how much it costs. This is consistent with our prior conversations about the costs associated with this MOU. $1.17 million is the 3% salary increase each year, which is an average annual amount of $390,000. There's a budget amendment as part of the action associated with this item. Additional cost of $321,000 in fiscal years 26 and 27 to accommodate the increased costs associated with implementing the increase to step F and G. Then in fiscal year 28, there is a cost to accommodate the increase to the Master Officer Program, as well as the continued cost of the increase to step F and step G, and we'll include those costs when we prepare the fiscal year 28 budget. Certain benefits are in the MOU that carry over. Those are already included in the budget. And then there's some small cost reductions tied to the freeze of the medical in lieu and the health reimbursement arrangement. So the total package cost, $1.86 million. That is what we've talked about in our prior discussions regarding the cost of this agreement. And so I just want to make sure that's abundantly clear. The recommended actions are to adopt a budget amendment for 26 and 27 to implement the terms of the GPOA MOU for those portions that we did not have included within the budget. Approve the MOU between the city and the Police Officers Association, and then to adopt a resolution approving the salary schedules that tie to the MOU, July 125, July 126, and July 127. So I'll take any questions relative to this contract, and then I can go on to the next. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Maui's out like a light. He's been my emotional support through this negotiations process. Dustin even brought him to a couple meetings we had, and it made it much more pleasant. The unrepresented exempt employees, this group covers 19 unrepresented exempt employees across all city departments. The unrepresented exempt confidential mid-management employees, there's 7 in that group. Part-time temporary unrepresented exempt, that's 5 employees, and then the unrepresented exempt at-will department heads, 7 additional employees for the total of 19. The terms of the resolutions that you have before you for the unrepresented confidential exempt mid-management employees, it's a mouthful, 3-year resolutions that provide salary increases of 3%, 7/125, 2.5, 7/126, 2.5, 7/127, and benefits consistent with the GMA MOU. For the part-time, same salary increases, same 3-year term associated with the resolution. And then for the full-time unrepresented exempt at-will department head employees, it's also 3 years in the resolution, salary increases at 3% each year, ability to cash out 100 hours of vacation, personal leave, or administrative leave once per fiscal year. That's up from 80 hours that are present now. And then other benefits consistent with the GMA MOU. The fiscal impact associated with these resolutions is $370,000 over a 3-year period, average annual cost of $123,000. It's 76% general fund, 24% other funds. GPOA is 100% general fund, as you know. The 26 and 27 budgets include sufficient funds to cover the costs associated with the salary and benefit resolutions, and then fiscal year 28 costs will be included in the development of the fiscal year 28 budget. So the actions here are to adopt the salary and benefit resolutions for the full-time unrepresented confidential exempt mid-management employees and unrepresented exempt mid-management appointed employees, the full-time unrepresented exempt at-will department head employees, and the resolution for part-time temporary unrepresented at-will exempt employees. Happy to answer any questions. Be a test on these employee groups later.
No questions, so let's go to public comment, please.
I have no speakers.
All right. Well, let's get right to it here. There's going to be another marathon of motions here, so I will start it off. See if I can handle it. First action that we're looking for is on item 8.6 is adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilroy amending the budgets for fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27 to implement the terms of the Gilroy Police Officers Association MOU for fiscal year 26 and 27, appropriating proposed expenditure amendments and authorizing the inclusion of appropriate funds in the future fiscal year 28 budget for salary and benefit expenditures related to the implementation of the MOU. Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Bracco, a second by Councilmember Fugazi. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. I'll also entertain to approve a memorandum of understanding between the City of Gilroy and the Gilroy Police Officers Association for the period July 2025 through June 30, 2028.
Motion?
I have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Fugazi. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. And finally, on 8.6, adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilroy approving the July 1, 2025, July 1, 2026, and July 1, 2027 salary schedules associated with the Gilroy Police Officers Association MOU.
Move.
Councilmember Fugazi, and a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. And now let's move on to item number 8.7. Adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilroy approving the July 1, 2025, July 1, 2026, and July 1, 2027 salary schedules for full-time unrepresented confidential exempt mid-management employees and full-time unrepresented exempt mid-management appointed employees.
Motion?
Motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Fugazi. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yeah.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Next, adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilroy approving the July 1, 25, July 1, 26, July 1, 27 salary schedules for part-time, temporary, unrepresented, at-will exempt employees.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilmember Bracco and a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
And Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. And finally, adopt a resolution for the City Council of the City of Gilroy approving the July 1, 25, July 1, 26, July 1, 27 salary schedules for full-time, unrepresented, exempt, at-will department head employees.
Motion?
I think I have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Moving on to item number 9, City Administrator's Report.
Well, as I said, this is my fourth day, so this will be brief. But I have had several meetings with members of the council and staff, in the next couple of weeks, I'll have to start working my way through the community members. But it's been extremely enlightening. I'm learning a lot very quickly, but I have to say I'm already impressed with the professionalism and dedication of both the council and the staff. I've worked with a lot of communities, and notwithstanding a lot of the changes I know that are going to be underway, this community does have its act together. That's a technical term. But anyway, I think the thing that has impressed me the most is just how much you all love Gilroy. And that's the key to being successful council and organization. So congratulations on that, and I look forward to working with you in the coming weeks.
Thank you. Item number 10, City Attorney's Report.
No report at this time.
All right, thank you very much. That's item number 11, leads us to adjournment.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
All right,
that did good.
That was good. All right.
Okay.
You got through it.
Yeah, you did great. Thanks for you helping me through it.
Yeah, no, thank you. And the meetings were good. I think extra communication this week. I think everyone did great. Last week, you know, just like I just feel like these folks.